Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Looting through the rubble, leaving cities war-torn, still incurring more scorn. Ragged and I'm forlorn, trying to unlock this. Open with my lockpicks, punching with my second hand every time the clock ticks.
There you go.
Okay, so we're going to test to see if the audio is working first. By the way, for anyone who's actually in chat right now and you're watching this, this is the new interface. We kind of debuted this on the Crypto Barons. Perfect. I think we have the right audio because I'm going to do an experiment real quick because if I can get the super high quality audio, I will do it. If it chipmunks, we'll just go back to the old audio. So I'm going to switch it right now. And so I might sound like a chipmunk for 30 seconds. We're going to find out. All right. Give it a couple of seconds just so I can hear if I'm chipmunking or not. I'm probably chipmunking. Awesome. Oh, yay. Finally. This actually... Oh, see, it's been this type of week, so something actually works for once today. But, all right. So we're going to continue on. Hi, everyone out there. Welcome to the DCG 201 live stream. People on the internets refer to me as Sidepocket. That's been my username and long story short hacker name for a while. I'm one of the two co-founders of DCG 201, formerly known as DEF CON 201 and DC 201. We're one of the many DEF CON groups spread across the United States and around the world where we sort of meet up. We try to meet up at least once a month and we do cool hacks and people get to show off cool coding things and social engineering and hardware stuff, and we just kind of hang out and have fun. Just a little slice of DEF CON away from DEF CON, which is the big major hacker convention out in Las Vegas. If you want to know more info now, normally, and I actually just remembered that I have to bring this up, I would prompt you to go to our website, but we are still working on that, and most of it honestly is just because I've been really busy, but I'm going to explain why I've been really busy in a moment. So instead, what I'm going to refer to everyone while our website is still in maintenance mode is to go to our blog, which is a Medium blog, and we have all of our links and updates there. And for some reason is that, ooh, okay, that's neat. I'm going to try that again. I want to try something here. Oh crap, did I turn it? Yeah, I turned it off. Okay, that was an interesting thing. Okay, now everything's going through. So that's our blog. If you want to check us out on social media, we have all sorts of social media links. I'm eventually going to put them up on the screen here because we used to have it on our old one. We have a whole new web virtual interface going on here in her face. But our two most popular ones are on Instagram at DEFCON21NJ. And sorry, that's our Twitter's at DEFCON201NJ. Our Instagram's just at DEFCON201. You can also find us on GitHub, and we have a slightly outdated version of our website on Tor. We have a minds.com. We're hosted on Mastodon on hostducks.social. All sorts of things like that. If you go to our blog, we have a couple of links to those, but I'm going to post in chat kind of our little master list here so that everyone knows what's going on. Finally, I want to shout out to hi everyone who is currently watching us on Twitch, D Live, and YouTube. Interesting thing going on with the chat right now. Oh, I forgot. I redid the chat so it's top to bottom. I'm still used to normally our old chat used to go every new post showed up on the bottom. Now everything shows up at the top of the chat list. So I'm still getting used to that. But anyhow, if you like the content that you see today, and you don't have to do this while I'm live streaming, or any of us are live streaming here at DCG 201, but we love doing it on live stream because we get the prompts for it. You can hit that bell, share, and follow us on our three main platforms, Twitch, D Live, and YouTube. Thank you. We're going to get into that in a moment. Thank you so much for that. We're also streaming on a couple of other platforms. We just got our Diode Zone on PeerTube working again. Awesome people at Diode Zone, so yay for independent streaming, as well as the elite hackers that are watching us on Tor. We do stream on Facebook. We are so sorry for all the people that are stuck on there, but you have to go where the people are. As long as we're not on Gab or Trump Social or any of the other failed social media accounts, I think we're doing good. But if you are watching me on Facebook right now and you want to chat, Facebook is really dumb, so you kind of have to do like a legal hack in order to make it work. And I just posted the link to that right in the chat there. So we kind of have a lot to do today, even though it's just sort of a casual stream and I'm super tired. Literally about like roughly an hour ago, I finally came back from New York City. Today was, I found out there's going to be another one in May, but today was the Wikimedia NYC, which are the Wikipedian organization located in New York City. They just had their picnic out in Brooklyn. And, you know, I figured it was also Easter, but like, how bad it could be, and I forgot two important things. One is that even though I already celebrate Easter on the 17th, because the background of my family, even though I'm not religious, is the Western Roman Catholic side, today is, and possibly was, Easter for all of the Eastern Orthodoxy, which also includes Ukraine. So right now, all the Ukrainians are celebrating Easter like the way the Poles celebrate Easter, which is basically like an Eastern European Pride Day. Kind of like the way St. Patrick's Day is like Irish Pride. It's a similar vibe. Combined with that the increasingly... I don't know how you can make like Cuomo and de Blasio and Bloomberg seem incompetent. Sorry, I seem competent by comparison. But the current new mayor is doing one hell of a job of doing so and decided, hey, on the same day as half the city celebrates Easter, let's host our first like 10K marathon run that will be televised since the pandemic lockdowns happened. So, long story short, transit was a complete mess. I literally left at noon to try to get there at 2. I didn't show up until 3:10, and I literally came back roughly like an hour ago just to finally get on the stream. I know we're supposed to stream at 9. This is sort of an impromptu thing. I'm going to explain why. Because a lot of you probably have noticed that I just haven't been around much. I haven't been streaming. And as someone in chat spoiled, which I am grateful for, chat's over here. Yeah, transit is a complete mess. But normally we would stream... Well, I'll put it this way. So on the 17th, it was Easter. It was my Easter. And normally I would have like made Easter stuff, did this stream, and maybe like, which I originally was going to plan to do, but I don't think we were going to get it, dye eggs live on air. What ended up happening is that one of my friends ended up having their own party to also celebrate like their birthday. It was like a post-birthday party, and that was going to be the last event that I'm going to see them until June. So I decided, and that event went from 7 to 11. Like, that's not a joke, it literally did. So that's why this stream didn't happen that day. I already planned on, I was thinking about streaming today. I decided that I was going to do it at the last minute. And of course, I didn't do Crypto Barons yesterday. I might do a Crypto Barons this Saturday, but we'll see how my schedule goes. But I'm going to kind of mostly explain where I've been the entire time, okay? And here it is. This is like the ultimate Hoboken douche look. But yes, yesterday was my birthday at 8:08 a.m. in the morning. I was born on April 23rd, and now everyone can try to hack into all my Gmail accounts and my Friendster and stuff like that. TMI, recon on the internet, cent. But yeah, I was born yesterday, thankful. Sometimes I'm drunk enough and dumb enough that it mentally I feel like I'm born yesterday. But, that's neither here or there. So yeah, the reason why Crypto Barons didn't happen yesterday and I'm super late showing up today is because literally this entire weekend, like literally starting Friday, I was celebrating my birthday. In fact, what's really nuts was that one of my longtime friends' birthday was on Friday, on April 22nd. We already made a deal of on April 22nd, during the day before midnight, I would screw them, I would fuck them up like with alcohol and stuff, and then after midnight they would try to do that for me. They didn't get a chance because me and a bunch of their friends fucked them up so bad that basically by 1 a.m. they were done and they went home. So I guess I'm going to get revenge later on. She's going to get revenge later on for me. But yeah, that's where I've been. And again, like I was supposed to come home like at 8 set up and we would have gone right at 9. But transit is an absolute mess. But yes, even though it was yesterday, I'm kind of coasting out the entire week. I technically celebrate my birthday all of April to some degree, although I try to aim stuff around my birthday. Normally because usually nothing happens in April and nothing ever happens on my birthday. This is the first time where I had to like cancel stuff because there was just too many events. We were supposed to. I'll put it this way, I probably wouldn't have been doing the stream at all if we actually got our talk at PAX East. Unfortunately, we submitted way too late. They were really sad. It was like the list was already full and everything. Some of my friends have gone to PAX East and I've seen videos. We will totally try to do it again next year when we have like more prep time and stuff. But yeah, like I literally missed all of PAX East just because that's how much stuff was going on. So that's what's going on there. Hey, Dark Arts, Dalp, Dark Arts. I like to pap, I guess, because I'm lame. My bladder's also saying that eventually I'm going to have to go to the bathroom, so we might take a little break after like 10 minutes before we do stuff, because I've turned 35, and even though most people think that's young, my day job, I work with kids, and they treat me like I'm a geriatric 80-year-old that just escaped from like the old folks home. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. They literally do. So, you know, I don't feel that way. And my knees definitely don't think they're 35. My knees, I think, are convinced that they're 75. So that's what's kind of going on there. Extremely depressing. Question. Now, is part of that depression is the fact that you actually won the elections for TOOOL? I hope everything's going well with you now. That's been another thing. For some reason, all month, all of my friends, like, I've had good things happen with a couple of my friends, but, like, it seems like everyone's either been having a boring month at best or a miserable month at worst. And, like, I'm the only one that, outside of, like, a looming deadline in about a week that I'm trying to get done, that everything's been, like, going either okay or really good for me. So I guess that's a trade-off. I guess next month will be my complete hell. So I hope whatever it is, Night Owl's the one. I always ask him questions and stuff. Fun trivia fact, he's not the person that actually taught me how to lockpick. Like, he didn't, like, I guess you could use a bad sexual slang, say he didn't, like, pop my cherry on, like, first lockpicking. But ever since then, and he's been a friend of mine long before that, he's helped me so much along on the way. So, like, any of, like, the sad, like, infant level shit that I do on this live stream is really all thanks for him. He is truly, like, you know, my show's called Master of Unlocking. That's simply because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I thought it'd be a fun title. Night Owl, in my opinion, is the master of unlocking. Like, for real. Like I'll put it this way. I don't think he knows this. Maybe he does. But I literally have people in person when they, like, know about, like, the lockpicking scene, like, when they watch YouTube and stuff. I've literally counted, and literally, lockpicking lawyer is only mentioned more by 2. Like, usually, every time people bring up lockpicking lawyer and, like, lock noob and Deviant Olm, they always bring up Night Owl as well. So, like, you know, and I know the whole thing of also imposter syndrome, and, like, you're not, you know, especially with how terrible life is for everybody right now. You don't think you're going through that. But a huge shout out to Night Owl. Basically, I would not be doing this show, going out and instructing people and stuff like that, and learning as far as I have without him. So, like, super, like, thank you so much for that. Yeah, no, that's the whole thing. Like, now, like, when you won the whole TOOOL thing, on one hand, we were, like, a ton of us were happy for you. On the other hand, it's like, oh crap, as if he's not busy enough. You know, we're gonna have to change that. If I remember correctly, I don't want to dox you, but I think your birthday's, like, more in, like, the later half of the year. We're going to cancel everything that you have. And there's actually a place that before the lockdowns happen, I've wanted to drag you out for your birthday in Brooklyn. So we're, like, a bunch of us, like, I'll fly, like, click over and everything. We're going to, like, get meat hooks and drag you down to this thing in order for you to actually get a fucking break. That's a good one. See, I'm an American, so I'm not clever like these Australians with Night Owl is a hoot. That's what I should have said. Thank you for bringing the actual brain power in class, because, you know, I'm trying not to make this an excuse, but basically I've at least spent 4 to 5 hours between the PATH train and the MTA. So that's going to be my excuse for all day. Yeah, no, that's a thing that a lot of people, and we're going to get into what we're going to be doing today, but that's what a lot of people, this is also going to be more of a casual stream for me. That's something that a lot of people don't really think about, is that, you know, all the buildings have locks. Like, even with the digital locks, you still need to consult a locksmith on stuff. And, like, you know, how many people, like, died at home and stuff. The police need to open their doors. So probably the first people who are going to find dead people are going to be like the locksmiths and the supers and stuff. It's fucking crazy. I know from my day job that like I was also declared essential worker for like, I think like the first half of the year, like for like 6 to 8 months. I got to work once a day, great pay. It was actually like essential work, but I saw the same thing where I was stationed was like where all of the elderly people were. So every time I worked, there was at least 3 to 5 ambulances a day, and some people came out on wheelchairs with giant oxygen masks, and some people came out in body bags. It was legit that scary. So... yeah. Oh, you taught a class this morning. Was it related to lockpicking and locksmith, or was it like a day job, like class, like you're teaching like, history lessons that like in my country right now, Florida's trying to ban and stuff like that? Yeah, I think all of our brains are fried, and eventually I'm going to have to take a piss break probably in 5 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll kind of go over how I'm going to kind of be celebrating my birthday today because, like, dead serious, I had a choice between attempting to try to stream on Crypto Barons and Master of Unlocking, doing the lockpicking, and not only just because of timing. I love talking about cryptocurrency tech. I love exposing snake oil stuff and running test nets and having everyone watch me fail at coding. But, like, locks are always, like, my other passion. For me, it's literally, like, nightlife, locks, video games. And video games only went out just because I've been doing that since I was a little kid, both developing and playing. So there's all of that. Yes, the funny smells. I was just explaining that on air. Like, God speed for that. Like, I'm really worried now that, one, you're going to somehow be paler than normal, which is, I think, physically impossible. But, we've seen a lot of impossible things the past, like, 2 to 3 years during this whole pandemic. And we're still in a pandemic, technically, even though it's shifting now to an epidemic, unfortunately, because of idiots. And, like... I'm worried that you're going to be like translucent when I see you, and you're going to have like the PTSD, like 8 million mile stare. So like, again, like, I don't know if you're still drinking or not. I don't know if you're like cutting down or whatever, but whatever you need to have a good time, we're going to cancel everything of yours at some point, like before the end of the year. And we're going to like give you like a good time. Not in that way. I mean, like, whether you want to just hang out, talk, you want to drink, you want to play some games in public, just walk around and actually breathe air that moves and everything, we're going to totally have to do that. Covert entry methods. That's the, it's funny because I actually need to reach out to Sky Pirate before I go to bed tonight, and I'm going to have some amazing... I go back to work tomorrow. I'm going to be probably wearing these at work and make my boss laugh. But yeah, no, like, I would love to do, I have taught this, I've taught a lot for free, I've also had taught for free, and then the people like the class so much that they pay me, whether it's the attendees or the people running the workshop. I've had that happen before, but, like, I would love to do this, like, as an actual job, like, without, like, if I could do locked sporting stuff and, like physical security without being a locksmith, I would totally do that. Not that there's anything against locksmiths, but again, I know Night Owl, I know a bunch of other locksmiths, they're kind of like the sadomasochists, and, like, the fact that they go off on this shit, like, power to them. I'm too weak, I can't do that. So... yeah, I guess this is like the Essential Worker channel, basically. So let me kind of sum up of what we're going to be doing. So first of all, just so I can see, I'll put these on back later. I just need to take these off and put on like actual prescription stuff, because otherwise I'll be nearsighted as shit. And we're still trying to figure out what happened to the Elmo and stuff, and I need to get a new camera anyhow, so I've already upgraded like the visual elements and things like that, although I just realized Dark Arts' name now goes like forever. So I might have to do some scaling. But here's what we're going to do. So if you remember, and this is sort of my makeup stream for this today, we had a super short episode. I filmed this at 4 p.m. because literally, again, that was my friend's Easter thing. It was Easter, and then I had to go to a friend's party, and that's going to be the last time I'm going to see them for 2 months, or a month and a half, basically. And I wanted to make sure they were like a recent friend of mine, so like I wanted to be there for them. It was really fun, by the way. I had a great time. They had a great time. Their folks, their boyfriend, amazing time. So I did a really short stream. I think it was the shortest Master of Lock I ever done, because what I finally got in the mail, and I'm going to have more stuff in the mail next month, so we're going to be like, literally from now until like October, November, we're going to be doing fun, crazy things. But the recent thing that I managed to get is a clear, I've been wanting this forever, and now I have the money and time to do so. I got a clear, Dimple Lock. So it's completely translucent plastic. You can see. I did think about getting the metal one, even though I'm aiming for clears in general, and my goal is to get clears and then later on get metals. But the reason why I went for clear is the same reason for this pick set, because I know this is like the most, it works, but it's like the basic, most crappiest goddamn pick set on the planet for these Dimple Locks. And the reason is that literally this is what was in stock. Like, I know the high quality things, and they had them listed, but they didn't have any inventory. So in order to like get things and not wait like until 2 months from now or something, I had to go and get these now. Let me read chat real quick. Recently I had to entry because someone was trapped, and in the property owner found out. They go, ooh, yeah, no. Everything is exponentially bad in any lock stuff when it's time sensitive, whether it's because of like your scheduling the situation or like the people involved in the situation. That's like it's like that. And there's also like, for example, it's kind of easy to like install a doorknob for the most part. This is the closest I'll ever get to locksmithing. I had the pleasure of, for free, I offered to change one of my ex-friends' doorknobs. I actually got their old doorknobs, and we did it on an earlier episode last year on the live stream. I picked them because they were now mine and they weren't in use. And like, I had to do that in complete pitch darkness, trying to manage one crappy light. And one of the door hole for the doorknob was misshapen, and the landlord, their hard rule was I could not modify the door. I couldn't even take a file to make the hole slightly bigger. I basically did a huge ass mallet job and just banged the fucker in. Let's see, I managed to work an under door tool under an active weather seal. Felt like someone had hung a heavy wool coat on the inside of the door. Yeah, no. What a lot of people don't know is because I've done the ripcord thing for the garage, you actually need a lot of strength in order to pull those open. It's the same thing with like some of my locks. Like some of the locks, like people are like, oh, isn't this the 4-pinner? I'm like, but have you seen the shackle on this? The shackle's thicker than my wrist. Like, you need to use the pry bars I have and put a lot of torque on it because it's crazy. But anyhow, back to this. So what I did, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain this. I'm going to take a bathroom break, and then we're just going to hang out and do this. I'm going to sip on some stuff. I have some candies to also try out on stream. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to do color eggs. I think I'm just going to do color eggs privately myself tomorrow, and maybe I'll have some for Crypto Barons, but we'll see. So again, I got a clear Dimple Locked key, 2 different keys on 2 different sides. This is the one that works, so you can see if I put the same key on the other side, different key, different bidding. I have that key here, and I got, just because it was the only one available, the cheap ass Chinese lockpick set, and that's been my problem because I'm not gonna lie, because of the shill that I am, I've actually been struggling with this. I've been struggling trying to find the right tensions and stuff for all of this. And now, I'm not one to make excuses because there are a lot of things I don't know how to do. There's things I don't know how to do well, and I'm still constantly learning. One of the reasons why I do this stream and what motivates me is I've had so many new people who ended up watching my stream, bought Lockpick. I'll put this, that party I went to on Sunday, right? Remember how I did that quick stream, showed Dimple Locks, and I went? I had someone... No, actually it was the Friday before. I had someone recognize me at that event, and that event had nothing to do with locks, hacking, security, or anything. It was a party, and literally I went to say hi to their other friend, and they like went nuts and were like, "Oh my God, you're the master of unlocking guy that posts on our lockpicking," and I was just like, "Huh," and like completely floored. So believe it or not, while I'm obviously not a lockpicking lawyer or anything, no one is. I actually do have like fans and stuff, but one of the things that keeps me going on this is I've had so many people who like, they see a lot of YouTube videos, and I get pre-recorded. I wish I could do a lot of this stuff pre-recorded. I'm eventually probably going to make some pre-recorded videos in the future, like quick shorts and stuff. Like I'll just like do like YouTube shorts and try and go back to TikTok and stuff and just do like a lock in like 10 seconds each. My thing is that I've had a lot of people appreciate that I live stream this. Because even when I know what I'm actually doing for once, sometimes something breaks or I make a mistake and I acknowledge the mistake on air and I fix it. And I've had a lot of people say that a lot of times they watch YouTube videos and because they're edited to perfection, people are, oh yeah, it's this master lock thing and it's the easiest lock, and then they try it and they go like fucking crazy. and they just can't. It took them forever to open it, and they feel like, I've had people tell me, especially at MagFest, that they like felt like shit because they would see all these videos from a lot of like my colleagues, and again, they're great colleagues and stuff, but the flaw that I've learned from just talking to the general public is that they see those and they're just kind of like, they made this so easy, like, why can't I do it? Like, so instead of just saying like, oh, I need practice, it's just more like, I feel like I'm shit, and then they watch me live stream and like they see me succeed and learn and get better, but they see me struggle while I do it. And I had a lot of people tell them that like that's why they're into lockpicking now, that watching me just fumble through this, that motivated them, because you know, as I always say to my students, if a complete schmuck idiot like me can do this for 5 years and learn how to do it, anyone else can do it, because pretty much most people, except for like Donald Trump, is more like competent than I am. But I'll get to what my theory on why everything. Yeah, with dimple locks, tensions large similar to inline pin tumbler locks. Main difference is that most dimple locks use security pins in the U.S. Yeah, that's another reason why I got these. Because this and the cutaway have standard pins. I was actually saying in my quick short thing, and I might do an overview before I get into this, because that one was super short. I think I went on for like 30-40 minutes. It's like the show. We usually go on for like 2 hours on this show. But the thing about it is that, guys, I talked about how like these are more common in Europe and Asia, particularly in Europe, from what I understand, in Western Europe. And then another thing is that the dimple locks that Americans are familiar with is like from Multi-T and other like high security brands, where in addition to this lock design, they chock them full of security pins and false sets and, you know, super power centric type keyways for dimple locks and stuff like that. So like what's crazy is a lot of people, like Americans, see this and they're like, oh, this is like super secure. In reality, it's not. It's just a different design. It works on the same principles. It's just that like the ones we're used to where we see them like this is they're all like high security brands. They're all Multi-T, Asa Alloys, stuff like that. The most common dimple lock in the United States is multi-lock, which not only implements telescoping pins. Yeah, pin and pin. By the way, it's going to take forever because I'm importing it from China. I'll see if it shows up faster, but I'm going to get, because I know the stock's running out, a clear multi-lock. So I'll be able to demo that in the future and kind of do it. And you'll really see me suffer with that one, especially since I'm slow learning at this. Now, here's the thing. I'm still learning tension, and I'm still being an idiot about this. But here's been my theory. So far, this has been the best pick head, this flag. It has more of, it's not a scoop, but it does sort of have a notch, and it's like the right size. I'm able to actually adjust the pins. Besides this which is amazing how you can just change the layout of something and you get like thrown off, or at least I do. My struggle is that I keep getting stuck on things. I keep getting stuck on pins. Because like there's kind of a little bit of a wedge here, but not really. The shaft keeps getting in the way in order to do the rotations. It drives me crazy. And I knew that from ordering the ones, because I've been told and I've been shown that the Chinese ones, they come straight out of the factory pressed. So they just press them and ship them. They don't do any finishing or anything. So like it's hard to see on this camera. I earlier today took pictures, and it's kind of there's a video. There's a not on this video, but I took newer pictures. There's another picture of me with like the keyboard. This is literally a square. Like you can actually, like, if I tried, I could actually press hard enough to like almost accidentally cut myself on these, like cut the first layer of skin. That's how angular they are. And if you've seen like high quality dimple locks, you know, unlike the ones that were out of stock, they are basically round shafts. In fact, when I was originally going to do this last year, I was aiming to get the black flags that lockpicking lawyer designs that they sell at Sparrows. And literally, right when I got the money to get it, like my payday came in, I clocked off shift at work, I went on Sparrow's website, and you can't get black flags anymore. You can't get them. They are allegedly redoing them, and they originally said that they would reappear with their new redesign and improvements in 2021. It's already in the middle of 2022. I have no idea what happened to them. My theory is that they just sold so well of the disc detainer lock, you know, the tool that him and Bosnia and Bill made, meme, that they just don't sell black flags anymore. So if they ever come back, I will get them instantly, because I have the money for it now consistently, and I will review them on air and like compare them to this shitty thing. But that's what's been going on. So my theory is that I want to get it so that the tools are good enough where it's just me, my bad skill, and bad luck, because I'm still learning, right? Especially since this is the stream where I did that dimple lock was the first time I ever engaged, and I've been playing with it ever since. Ha ha ha, innuendo, laugh now. But because I keep snagging on the pins going in and out, in the rotation and stuff, what I'm going to be doing on stream is that we're going to live up to the Twitch's subsection of making and crafting, because I also came from Home Depot today, and I got, first of all, a wheelie carrying case, which has been a revelation for me, so I don't have to carry the 8 billion pound suitcase by itself. I now have wheels. But what I did was I got a bunch of tools that are off camera here, that I am going to essentially try to smooth and file this down so that it's more rounded. And if I feel more up to it, I might do all of them on stream. If not, I will use the next stream, and anytime we have to waste time, I'll just keep polishing shafts and heads. Ha! But that's what we're going to be doing, is we're going to use a bunch of different tools, and I'm going to attempt to file and smooth the shaft down, get more of a wedge on the upper head, just make everything more rounded and smooth, and see if that improves everything. And I'm actually going to try to attempt to pick this the way it is, and then we're going to go and smooth everything. But what's going to happen right now is that, unfortunately, nature calls. I do need to pee. I have to I2P, spell I cup. So because I don't like water sports, and it's illegal to do it on most streaming platforms except Chatterbait, which we actually did have a Chatterbait and got kicked off of it. That was a fun, long story. I'm going to play some more cool jazz, and then I'll be back, and I will pick the clear lock to the best of my ability, and then we're going to smooth and file this out, and we'll see if that improves anything, because in my theory it should. I might still not be able to pick the lock open just because I'm an idiot, but that's what we're going to find out, is we're going to attempt to improve at least this pick head, and then if I feel good enough, we might do some more of that, others in the set. So anyhow, real quick, the analysis, my preference for dimple locks is Sober Tools set, then Sparrow's Black Flag. I actually haven't heard of the Sober Tools. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. After the stream, I will go look them up, and if it's in my price range and everything, I'll order them, and I'll see what it is. Even with good sets, you'll spend ages filing, polishing them. Yeah, and they still snag. Yeah, I actually found, like, this is going to be an interesting experience, because, like, what's really fascinating is, like, I've ordered stuff from Southward and Sparrows and, I think one thing from Peterson. And basically, like, even when I got crappy Chinese locks, like, I'll remember this, the last tool meeting I went to, I actually, like, had a bunch of extra, like, because I was ordering something else and they came free with it, like cheap Chinese lockpicks. And I was standing there with sandpaper and I was smoothing them down. And it's actually kind of amazing that while some of them were still slightly too big to fit in American and European keyways, that just by simple quick sand took like a minute or 3, instantly improved. Like, they were like, basically they went from shit to mid quality in like 3 minutes. This I feel like is going to be an endeavor, especially because it's been forever since I've like filed metal before, so this is going to be kind of fun. So anyhow, like I said, my bladder is like, you have to pee, motherfucker. So I'm going to put on some jazz music, going to go pee, going to go dump some I2P. We'll be back. And when we do, I'm going to show you, without modifications, me trying to pick this open. And then we're going to use our tool, see if we can smooth this down, and see if there's any improvement. Okay? Enjoy the music. I will be right back. Do-do-do. And now we should be back. I'm still getting used to the new interface stuff. So, hi everybody. Hopefully everyone can hear me again. If I'm chipmunking, let me know. So, as a recap, so first of all, yes, it was my birthday yesterday, and actually in about an hour, it's going to be 2 days after my birthday. But I figured I'd still celebrate today, because I'm going to be like, I'll put it this way, I have celebrations lined up until like Saturday. Basically for me, I have so many different events. That's why, like this month, I've been so busy. That's why I apologize for like the sporadic streaming and stuff. Also to note about events, so I'm going to either post this, awesome, thank you, Niall. I'm going to either post this on on everything, our blog, all of our social media, either tonight, or if I crash tonight, it will definitely be sometime tomorrow. About yes, birth month. That's what I do normally. Because normally nothing happens. Like I usually just whatever like one event happens in April, I take it. But like literally every week there was 12 things, and also now all these friends. I used to never really know anyone else who had April birthdays, and I just knew all these new friends that I made in the past 3 years. They all have freaking birthdays in April, so going crazy. Anyhow, about the meeting. So I had to make a decision about a week ago where I did have a venue lined up. I did have a bunch of people who could talk, but I was just looking at my schedule and what has to be done, and the fact that we're going to have a really, really special big meetup in May. So I was like, do I try to force this next week to happen and try to rearrange it to my stupid schedule, or do I just put everything into the May meeting and have that happen? So basically, unfortunately, once again, I know this has been a trend. And don't worry, it's not, we're doing fine. It's just, it's just one thing after another. And also still a pandemic and stuff like that. We're not going to have a meeting here at DCG 201. So when April ends, that's it. It's going to all be in May. I cannot wait to announce the stuff in May because the May stuff I've been working on since February. So I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to announce that. It's going to have a very special theme that's near and dear to my heart, and there's going to be a lot of, like, the real problem was, like, even when people couldn't make it, we had so many amazing people that wanted to show up and talk stuff about this one subject in person and online that, like, it was really hard to kind of edit down just so everyone can, like, have their own space, especially what's going to be, like, our keynote lightning talk with that. But our alternative is that we're telling all of our fans and members of DCG 201 that if you do want to attend a meeting where I plan on being there, and I'm sure a couple of other people are going to be there, DCG 212, the DEF CON group in New York, is doing both an in-person and live stream of their meeting this upcoming Thursday. We're telling everyone to go to that one, and so either tonight or sometime tomorrow, you're going to see it on our blog and stuff. If our website's up on our website, we're going to post details that tell you how you can check out DCG 212, how to check them out and stuff. And basically, we're telling everyone to go to that meeting. We're going to be back in May. We're actually going to be meeting in person and live streaming in person twice. One for the main meeting that's going to have a really cool topic. And then shortly after, I'm going to spoil this right now, we're going to be doing a special episode of Crypto Barons. That is going to be about Bitcoin Pizza Day, and we have a very relevant group of people and location to talk about that with. That's going to be a fun, like, it's going to basically, we're going to have kind of a topic, but it's also going to be like casual hackers meeting up, eating pizza and stuff, talking about, cryptocurrency and like the bullshit in cryptocurrency and the actual tech behind it. It's going to be really neat. So it's like no meeting this month, but you get to check out another DEF CON group that's literally right on the PATH train. Like, that's how I go there. I go right off the PATH train, walk around the block, and there it is. And then next month, we're going to be meeting twice. And the main meeting is going to be fucking huge. So that's going to be kind of the trade-off. That's like my excuse with my crazy hair and crazier schedule. So, as a recap, I'm going to quickly kind of go over from the last episode the difference between a basic pin tumbler lock and a dimple lock, and then I'm going to show the tools I've been using unsuccessfully to practice opening this thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use some tools to do some modification of this, mainly to slim and like smooth down so it's not square. We're trying to basically put a square peg into a round hole essentially, and see if that improves any of the quality of my picking with this tool. Okay, so just as a quick recap, I'm not going to go into like all the things about lockpicking. Again, we have previous episodes, including our first episode that talks about the basics and the beginner and stuff. But similar when we talked about tubular locks, most locks, I would say in the United States, like 95 to 97%. In the UK and Europe, I would say probably between 92 to 95%. Are what's known as a pin and tumbler lock system. And what makes this kind of important is that when a lot of people say that, we're talking about a very specific type, and I don't know if it has a term for it. Night Owl probably knows because he's a genius and is, again, mentor, way better than me. He's also been around forever, so he's probably was around when the terminology was created. He's good. I can already hear the sniper bullet about to hit me. Canadian sniper, I might add. But a lot of times when we talk about pin tumbler locks, what I kind of refer to this exact setup is what I call a linear pin and tumbler lock. And the reason is because the spring tension, which you can kind of see vibrating in there. Again, we don't have the Elmo, so I'm trying to do the best that I can here. But the springs here, the driver pins on top, those little cans, the key pins all lined up. Everything, and if you look at the top where the drill holes are, it's off. It's not a perfect straight line. That's actually the main reason why you can feel for binding pins and pick locks open in the first place, is that even with like surgical procedure, you still have all these imperfections. But overall, it's all the components are in a straight line, one after the other. And that's how they work. And that's exactly inline pin tumbler. Okay. I think linear is not a bad guess for trying to describe that. But yes, I'll use that inline pin tumbler. Let's see which one. I'm actually going to use the, I understand now, by the way, why a lot of people really like this, it's called the offset diamond or like diamond, hook or whatever, where it has like the same curve as a normal hook pick, but it has the wide, head, like a diamond pick, like basically anytime I'm not using my monkey paw, the notch pin one, that's the one where it's like if I like can't really feel anything in lock, I use that one and I usually get open. And again, my nose is acting up as I'm live streaming, but I always go for this one when it's just like normal base pin tumbler stuff. Basically because in these inline pin tumblers, everything is designed in a straight line. All the tools involved have been designed for that. You have your tension wrench, which fits into this nice, like, mostly vertical, even with paracentricness, it's still a vertical keyhole. And the actual pick itself is designed with innuendo time, with length in mind, and it's designed to basically go in and out in a linear fashion, horizontally, and then you manipulate the pins vertically in an up and down motion, and basically kind of like a rocking motion here. And let's see if I can do this, because I was also at the Wikipedia picnic, I was also teaching locks, so probably a lot of these need to be like re-oiled and shit. Let me actually do a different hand position so that everyone can kind of see it better. But yeah, this whole linear setup is why most lockpicking tools that you get when you just search lockpicking tools and you buy them are designed like this. They're designed in the same way it's set up to go in and out, and it's designed in a vertical up and down to manipulate the pins. And the same thing with the keyway, where since it's a vertical keyway, the tension wrenches, whether they're bottom of the keyway like this one, or if I can pull this out properly because I'm going at my my EDC at a weird angle, because that's what you do sometimes. Even with like a top of the keyway like this one, you are still matching to that vertical keyhole. Yeah, deforest diamond or offset diamond. Thank you, Niall. You're like the Niall, you really need to like, I know this probably exists, but you need to like get more fame by like making like an official like Ye Old Night Owl's Guide to Dictionary Terms, so that you can not sound like a pleb, you fucking shitbag. Like that, you need to make that book, like just like a little, like a farmer's almanac sized book of just like proper lock terms, so that idiots like me don't make asses of themselves. Now, what's kind of interesting about Dimple locks, at least from my experience, is that basically it's literally the same design. It's the same principles of, you know, the tension, the key pins, driver pins, shear line, open, spring tension, You know, the way that you pick it is you put a tension wrench in, and then you manipulate it with the single pin pick tool and it opens. And it's kind of amazing, just like with tubular locks back in the day, how you can literally change one thing about the design. Like, you keep the same components, just change one thing, and it just throws everyone off. And what that is basically they kind of revert. So the key pins and driver pins in Dimple locks are still, and also because a lot of these are Europe, this is actually the default way they do it. So like, they think we install our locks upside down. We think that they install their locks upside down. It's always a whole thing. That's like a classic. That's like, it's like the equivalent, I guess, in the lockpicking world, in my opinion, of like the whole like Nano versus Emax type of bullshit debate or whatever, would be Bogota versus City Rake, and the other one is the UK installing their locks upside down, or are we installing their locks our locks upside down? That's always a hilarious thing. I know, but that's the thing. A lot of people don't even know that exists. And to be honest, I tried looking for it, and it's fucking hard to find, ironically enough. So just put it out there. Plus, again, sometimes you don't need to, like, invent something new. You just have to, like, not even reinvent the wheel. Just package the wheel in a new way, and, you know, you get there. But anyhow, so all the key pins, driver pins, same exact setup. You can see when you put it next to it, with the Bible on top with the pin chambers and everything. And they're all set linearly that way. The thing that they changed is the core and the keyway itself. It is a horizontal keyway as opposed to the typical vertical keyway. And you would think that wouldn't change a lot, but it actually does change a lot of things. And also note, just like with this clear plastic lock, this is designed for demo purposes. So in the same way, this is the shittiest lock on the planet by design. This is also a shitty lock, so I'm going to actually try to use normal tools on here, and it shouldn't be this effective, but it kind of is just because of how this particular lock's designed. And for the most part, and I've been experimenting, you can actually use, if they're thick enough, like mine's is, you can use normal tension tools. That's what I mean is, like, if I try to go in with hooks, I can't really, like, first of all, I can't do it vertically because they're way too big. And even if I were able to get them in, the up and down motion would be almost near impossible, especially with my tool set. If I try to turn on its side and do it, and I'm using probably the best one you could use for Dimple Lock, which is a really big diamond single pin pick. But even with its wide head, trying to like rotate it because of the way the shaft's designed, I can't really manipulate the pins. And I actually, funny enough, and this is what I mean about this being the shittiest lock in the world, I do have some better impact trying to go in horizontally with a normal rake, but it's still like not perfect to rub against because, again, this is designed for a vertical keyway, not a horizontal keyway. And, like, you know, I'm going to put the city rake in, like, I'm basically being an idiot on purpose. Like, it just doesn't work. And so a lot of people get stumped by these because essentially, like I've said in the past videos about security, a lot of lock stuff, when it comes to security, I would say there's like one half of it and its chunks. Some parts of that one half are paracentric keyways, you know, weirdly shaped keyways that make it really hard to navigate the pick. Others are actual security features such as security pins like spool pins and serrated pins and all the other variants. Odd techniques like check pins, pin and pins, stuff like that, rotating pins. There's a bunch of different things with that, but literally the other half, in my opinion, is literally security through obscurity, where it's literally they change something about the lock where if you have just Joe Public standard tools, you're not getting it done. It's not that necessarily, except for me, that you're like an idiot. It's literally you don't have the right tools. Again, when the from what I understood, when the Chicago locks, aka the tubular locks, came out on the scene, they were actually advertised as high security because at the time no one could figure out at first how to pick them, but also just how to even tension them. And that's still for a lot of new people is a struggle today if they don't know the new type of tools available. Eventually, there were better tension tools for those, and especially with the impressioners, made the whole thing almost trivial. However, it worked for a while simply because even just by taking the inline and making a circle threw everyone off. Again, I think the ultimate form of that is disc detainer, where I've had so many people get so confused about a lock, and then they bring it to me, and I see it, and it's like, oh, it's a disc detainer. You literally don't have the tool. There's actually a type of tool. Works the same way, tension and moving, but completely different design aspect. Like, you would never be able to pick these open with standard lock picks. And it's very similar to the Dimple Lock, where it's just, obviously, these are not the right tools for the right job. I'm going to read chat real quick. U.S. invented, yes, the pin tumble lock. Everyone else is doing it wrong. Yep, there we go. It's the argument section. Euro profile shaft half diamond will work. Non-telescoping pin design. Yeah, that's why I said you can have some success, especially if the diamond head is large enough to actually. I've known people who especially ironically enough, the cheap Chinese ones with the ginormous, where like the diamond is like the size of a quarter. You could actually use those as basically a non-curved two-way blank flag. But even that's kind of like, you have to kind of like train for that, and you have to also have the right shaft, because again, a lot of these shaft heads are designed to be huge so that it doesn't break and you have stability and grip. That does not work when you're trying to rotate. So what lock pickers and lock sporters and all the lock companies stuff did was they just redesigned the tools. And so first of all, because of how wide a lot of these dimple locks are with their horizontal ones, like I said, I have thick enough standard tension tools that I can use them to tension this. I personally find the type of dimple lock design Z wrenches, or as the British call them, Z wrenches, I just personally find them to be a lot easier to tension and control because of how wide they are. I can easily do tension on them and stuff like that. It just makes things easier for me. I'm also thinking of rounding these off a little bit well, because these really feel like they were stamp pressed out. But the main attraction here is the actual pick. So you'll notice that every single one of these dimple lock heads, the shafts are consistently at a thin size. Like, again, compare it to the half diamond shaft. Like, you see how it's like it's thin but still thick at the top. It's thicker than the dimple lock shaft, and it gets super thick at the bottom. Again, that's for stability, and you're doing this vertically. You need rotation, so having a thin enough curve, supposed to be curved, like shaft helps with that. And then the flag tips are designed wide enough, and some of them have different scoops and stuff to get around the warding, where now, instead of trying to put this in vertically and moving them up and down, putting them horizontally, there we go, and you're rotating them side to side, so that gives you literally enough wiggle room to actually manipulate these pins. In addition to that, to help with the rotation, if you notice that a lot of basic, and this is just a quick overview of what we did last time, because the last episode was like 2 seconds long, you have these like very narrow yet thick, in this case padded, handles. And again, these are perfectly designed for an up and down motion. Obviously, you want to maximize the rotation motion, so almost every single, there's a couple of exceptions, like there's super cheap ones that don't have this, but basically any dimple lockpick worth its salt has a rounded base to help with that rotation. I'm just reading in chat. On most dimple locks, you want sharp edges on your turning tool. Okay, good. Okay, so I won't do that. Because I haven't had problems with that. I'm just guessing. I haven't had any problems really with the tension wrench. It's probably also just me trying to figure out the tension. I've been told to do very light tension on these, and that's been improving. But again, what I've noticed, again, and some of them, what's weird is some of them have this, some of them don't. The really good ones have sort of a wedge in the front, so it can like slide underneath. This like kind of did, but not really. It's like they half-assed it in the middle of the punch. And just, again, the shaft is so square and so has such an edge that I am just constantly, I just did again, even when I try to guide it improperly, I'm constantly getting stuck, whether it's pulling in and out past the pins or sometimes even the rotation. I've just been having huge problems, and I'm just snagging on even huge warding like this. So when I look this up online, I've seen countless videos where people have taken tools and have filed this down, smoothed it out, made these more smooth, and they have better results. So I'm basically going to risk this because I could just get better picks later on if I want to. Eventually I'm going to do, and this will go into the public stuff for my students to work on. Because that's what I do with all my old picks. Any picks where I don't use them, they all go in the set. So, and that way also the students have, like, some of them are now quality tools, so they get to use that. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear all this off. I'm going to close this and everything. I'm going to take most of this stuff out. And we are going to use different tools that I just bought when I was out in Brooklyn because I was running out of time, like I do. And we're going to attempt to improve on this in the same way I've improved Chinese lockpicks from China that are single pin picked, and I've gotten them from like absolute garbage to holy shit, these actually work most of the time. So we're going to see how we go. Hopefully I don't horribly injure myself. I'm going to check chat in a moment. And I just also want to let everyone know that before we get into the main event here, as I celebrate me growing more gray hair and my knees falling apart and everything, that if you like the stuff that you currently see here on the live stream, we have other shows. Again, my other show, which might happen this Saturday. If not, they'll go back to their usual schedules next month, is Crypto Barons, where I teach about blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies as technologies. So instead of talking about what is it called, finsplaining, instead of just like blah, like buy the dip, all that garbage, scammy shit. You know, we run test nets, we run wallets, we look at the background tech, we look at the math that this is all based on, that sort of thing. We also stream our meetings when we finally have them, and sometimes we do special events, like maybe there'll be a hacker conference being live streamed and we'll watch it. I know there's going to be a bunch coming up in the summer that we're going to both view. I'm also going to be physically live streaming at some of these, such as Hope and DEF CON, provided that they allow me, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested, you can like, share, and subscribe to us. Our main platforms, if you're watching now, is Twitch, DLive, and YouTube. Particularly on YouTube, because YouTube is such a piece of shit, make sure that when you do follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube, and it's all completely free, that you also hit the bell icon and put notifications to all, because leaving ads default, you will never hear from me. Like, you'll get a new episode update 4 months from now, because that's how shitty YouTube is, and it keeps getting worse. A lot of people getting demonetized for no reason now, just in general, for that. So yeah, we're just going to put this stuff away. And also, by the way, when you follow us, not only do you get alerts for when I'm on stream, so whether if I'm late or if I've rescheduled or you can't remember when the live stream stuff happens, you now have reminders. And we also get little pop-up notifications, which hasn't happened yet on the new system. It's the same old notifications, but I just love this new. There's a lot of Easter eggs in all of these, especially if you use like operating systems back in the day on like Linux and Windows. So there's a couple around here, and if you see them, shout them out in chat. I love to do that. Speaking of chat, by the way, I love an active chat. Right now, everyone's been really active. It's mainly been Night Owl screaming at me of how much I'm screwing up. Wow, we're actually getting a lot of viewers now. Jesus Christ. Thank you all, by the way, for watching. But that I love an active chat. So if you have any questions about what I'm doing, my methodology, my crazy hair, what's this crazy weeb, phone freaking weeb shirt I have, which is one of my favorite gifts I've ever received in recent years. Me as a hacker, me as a lockpicker, my opinions about like the news, video games, shit like that. Ask me in chat. I love talking with chat. But if you're also here to learn, as I always say on this show, keep lurking, keep learning. So I'm going to quickly check chat, and then I'll show you the tools that we're going to be using to help file this down. Hi, Chaka. Let's see. For Dimple Lockpicks, it can be advantageous to have a slope on the front and rear of the pick to make it easier to slip under pins. But for turning tools, you only need to worry about, sharp edges are likely to come into contact with the lock body. Yeah, that's in general. One of the things that drives everyone crazy about tension tools, no matter what type of lock that you're using, is the fact that it might essentially grip it too well, as sometimes she does, and will actually catch the lock body. And I've literally had this in the past where I didn't realize I actually picked the mid-level security lock, but literally I positioned the tension tool in such a way that it's not going to turn because now it's metal on metal and it's not going anywhere. And so, whether it's dimple locks, an inline pin and tumbler lock, even like a disc detainer lock and stuff like that, when you use tensioners, you're always going to potentially run into that problem. That's what we're trying to avoid here. That's why I asked about smoothing it, but apparently that actually helps. So, what do I have? Well, my old sandpaper sponge is getting old. apparently now they sell them in purple instead of yellow now. So I have 2 new sandpaper sponges. I have this one, which is in 80 grit, and this one is supposed to help with smoothing. This is not how we're going to mainly smooth, but this is going to help with the smoothing process. And then I found, and this is a new number, because my old one was a fine grit. It was 120 to 140. This is 220. I think we're in a couple of generations away from these to have like a 420 sandpaper one, so you can like super polish all of your stuff and then smoke it afterwards or something. Yes, extremely aggressive. This was actually the highest of the smoothing ones I could get, because I wanted to like get on the border to when it becomes like a finisher, and this was the closest I could get at the time. So we might not even use this one, but even if I don't use this, I think it'd be kind of helpful on the shelf, because I'm also repainting certain things and stuff. So, you know, I need to get the old paint off and put the new primer on. I'm literally actually going to do that between this and the next episode. I will tell you in May that one of the episodes is going to be in May is the sequel episode that I've been wanting to do for a while. Real quick before we get into our main thing. I know more of what I'm going to do with Crypto Barons, but I do know that in May, one of the 2 episodes is going to be about... one of my most popular episodes was when I got the Sparrows Reload Kit, and because I couldn't do this live because of the timing for paint selling, I actually painted the lock bodies the same one as the keys. I have to repaint them and reseal them again because they've chipped away over time, and I have better sealant now. I'm doing a sequel one to that, except it's going to be cutaway Sparrows locks, and it's going to be master keyed. And so you're going to watch me pin that, and then I'm going to teach everyone what master keying is and that old chestnut and how it works. Okay, so I'm not going to... You said those, plural. I'm not going to use, unless I want to experiment on something with the 80. I am going to try, if I need to, with the fine finisher, because I've used this before on other lockpicks really gently, and it's worked out amazing. So I might end up using this one. Again, I'm going to keep this one just because I also have like paint and other stuff to do. So that's what I'm going to do here, yeah. 420. I'm Canadian. I need to smoke now. Well, I live in New Jersey, so I have the same thing. New Jersey it's legal, which caused New York for it to be mostly legal, although the NYPD are assholes. Shock Pikachu face about it. They're being all butthurt about it. Actually, real quick, I was just talking about this with one of my roommates. One of the conspiracy theories that I have, right, just because I have enough evidence to think that this is probably true, is that ever since they legalized weed last year, like NYPD has been super butthurt about it, because we know that was like 1/4 of their income was like, you smell like pot, arrest you. It's like, it's a 3-year-old infant. Whoa, I thought I smelled pot, so I had to grab the infant and chuck them in the sewer. Like, they got paid a lot to do that, and now they can't do that anymore. Literally, like, what was weird was when New Jersey legalized it, like, I was listening to cop radio, and either none of them cared and were just going back to their jobs, or they were actually happy. Like, I remember actually hearing one officer on the radio go, oh, it's passed today finally? Good, now we can actually work on real shit. Like, it was that. NYPD's official statement on it, and I shit you not, was when weed comes out, that's when the shooting starts, so we're still going to be on alert. And they also publicly disagreed with the mayor and governor's decision on that. So that's the type of people we're dealing with here. 400 to 200. Yeah, this was literally the highest that I could find at the store. And again, I've used less than this, and it's worked really well, but not aggressively. I use it very light, and I do it really well. So basically, if I've been using a 140 brick, and it's worked wonders, I think this is probably going to be even do better. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I'm just saying, like, that was my mentality getting one of these. Watch. Now I'm going to show off the main thing, and he's going to tell me not to use it, and then we have no episode, and I'm just going to sit here and eat chocolate. I mean, that could happen too, or you could just watch me struggling pick Dimple Lock more. So that's the sandpaper if we ever get to it. That was literally my backup, particularly the 80 grit one. That was like my backup. Here's the main thing, and this drives me crazy. So I had to go get a filing set. I've used files before, years ago. Last time I used a file set was to work on a basically there was a piece of ripped metal on a vintage thing, and I had to smooth it out 4 years ago. The thing is, I've never purchased files, ever. Oh, sorry, I forgot the conspiracy theory about the cops. So my theory about the NYPD is that to me, and I hated it, I was like getting Columbine flashbacks. It was like Columbine meets 9/11, that whole shooting thing in the subway. That was horrific. I literally actually, not that line, but I was actually supposed to go somewhere in New York that day, and I would have to use part of that line. Not to where the shooting happened, but I was going to use that train line. And when I saw that, I was like, I'm not going into New York. I'm not going to go to New York until the end of the week. I'm going to wait 4 days. Even after they catch the guy, I'm going to wait a day or two afterwards, just to be sure. I'm glad they caught him. Shout out to the security camera installer who's an immigrant that caught the guy, not the detectives, as the police say. They literally just showed up and threw the cuffs on them after the dude pointed out where the guy was. Here's something, Night Owl. So, Night Owl, here's a thing that shocks no one. New York has a terrible mayor. Now, what I will admit, again, as I said earlier in the stream, that I had no idea you could actually make Bloomberg and de Blasio seem competent in hindsight. But right now, he's doing a bang-up job. And real quick, my fear is that everyone's going to blame his blackness instead of the fact that he's a fucking shithead, like, bootlicker because of his background. And that then we're just they're never gonna elect an African American for like 50 years because of that. When in reality, it's just because New York has a shitty, like, elitist asshole problem, and not this person's skin color or this person's dress style or whatever problem. That's the real problem. Yeah, the governor too. Yeah, again, in the weird way, in American politics, I want everyone from every background to get elected, so then hopefully maybe one day, years after I'm dead, people will start realizing, maybe we can't solve things by just like putting a woman in, or putting a man in, or putting this race in, or putting that age in. Maybe we just, I don't know, need to not stop electing assholes. Maybe. But okay, so quick conspiracy theory, and I'll go back to this. Because again, this is my birthday stream. I can do whatever I want. I just really want to do this for my own curiosity. My conspiracy theory is that, now, I'll say this. I don't think that shooting was financed or done by the police, okay? I think that's stupid. That's like beyond QAnon levels of dumb, in my opinion. I do, however, think that the police were waiting for any incident, whether it was at an airport, I almost said the sewer, I guess that too, the subway, just something where they can pile on bullshit to make up money that they are now going to lose for not arresting pot people. Like, so I think the whole push for I cannot wait for their dumb idea for the metal detectors. Oh God, we used to parody about what if they installed those and how much of a shit show that would be. And from what I understand, what I love too is apparently this was not the MTA's idea. This is the shitty mayor and the NYPD's idea, because, but that's my theory. I think they're going to use the metal detectors to just constantly just arrest just tons of people whenever, just so that they can justify budgets, hence make money. And that's the way they're going to offset the way of that. You took away our potheads. Now who else are we going to beat up? Now we're just going to have to kick like white women, like that's what they're going to be like. Well, Giuliani's too busy horrifying people singing on live TV. So, back to files. Koch, all of them are just, like, it's basically all of them are awful, and then it's like the different degrees, but then when you kind of sum them up, it's like, it's not even worth it. And, I'm from New Jersey, and that says something, and we've had truly terrible governors in the past. I mean, Chris Christie, living Dr. Robotnik, and that's it. So, back to this. So, I got a set of files. What pisses me off is I've never bought files. Now, this is probably honestly unique to the store I bought them at, because I bought them at a chain that wasn't Lowe's, let's put it that way, just because that was the nearest thing at the time in Brooklyn. And what really sucks is, over the years, I've had real quick, I'm convinced Florida, Texas, I have relatives in Texas, by the way. They're in nightmare mode right now. Florida, Texas, and Tennessee are now in a weird three-legged race to figure out which is the shittier state. Like they all want, like, all three of them are desperately trying to out North Korea. It's absolutely amazing. So, it wasn't Walmart. Okay, I'll say it was Home Depot. Okay, it was literally the most convenient thing. I used to occasionally buy stuff from Home Depot, just if it wasn't at Lowe's. It was mainly lock stuff, but now they have, like, equal amount of, like, lock brand items, so this was just because it was convenient. But the thing is, over the years, I've always been told, yeah, you should get a set of files. You get them in a little baggy thing. They're like $15, $20 max. Like, you could probably get them for $10 in a baggy. And also they were like, yeah, even if you don't want a set of files, you can just get the tiny files, like, individually. Like, they're like $2 or $3. Yeah, no, that would be the end of the universe right there. Watch, with the new mayor, that's going to actually fucking happen. Watch, like, you know. Especially with Amazon faltering because they're getting unionized, which yay for them. And now Starbucks. Yay! All the gentrified places are getting their comeuppance. I am happy. So here's the problem. All they had was either files that are designed to do manicures for T-Rexes, or they had the smaller files I want, but they didn't have them individually. I had to get an entire set. It wasn't even like a 3-piece set. I either had to get all the files or just get a file that could, like, decapitate a human. Okay? So, and probably Niall's going to yell at me. What I ended up getting, and this was literally the only one that had these size files, is this in this goddamn casing. So, like, I will keep the rest of these files because they might be useful, but I'll put it this way. I'm not using any of these. I'm pretty much, it's these two that I wanted. These two tiny ones is what I wanted. If they had them individually or had tiny ones in a set, I would have bought them. Now, the good thing was this was actually relatively cheap. Or I should say affordable for me. Not that I'm broke or poor. It's just, you know, it's nice to know it wasn't as expensive as I thought. But still, I'm kind of mad that I have a ton of shit I don't want in order to get the two things that I really want. So what we're going to be mainly doing, and I also have, these are actually my work gloves. I have to get new rubber gloves, because I'm that kinky. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this package. I'm going to do a G.I. Jack thing. And we're going to take the two smaller files, and my game plan is we're going to use those very lightly to round out the edges mainly on the shaft, and then the idea is to use the high grit sandpaper to further polish, smooth out, and also make more of a bit of that head dent in it. I might have to use one of the main files to do a better head dent because they really screwed up on this one, even though that's the shape that works the best in the practice lock. And hopefully that will improve the pick, and we're going to see that if I don't open it, it's definitely my skill. Like right now, I would say right now it's 80%. It's because I currently suck at it. But I kind of want to just close that gap, so it's just all my, like, me just being a dunce. So yeah, unlike G.I. Jack's, by the way, awesome to hang out with, and he's done a lot of awesome, amazing work over the years, and he was the other co-founder. He moved to California a couple of months ago. He's doing well over there. They definitely gained an awesome hacker in California. But I'm not a G.I. Jack. I'm not going to, like, you know, I put it this way. I've only had 2 minor knife mishaps in my life. And actually, the second one happened during Easter when I was scoring the kibasi. Because I do, like, traditional Polish Easter. Not full. I don't do the butter lamb. That's not lamb. That's buttered. It's literally... In the olden days, Polish people would take an entire block of butter, which you basically can't get anymore, and carve a lamb into a shape of a lamb out of it, like beautiful artwork stuff. My aunts do that. They actually melt butter and they put it in a mold. You could also get them pre-made. And I actually found out 4 years ago that Polish people have actually modified 3D printers to 3D print that shit. They're 3D printing butter. They basically run the 3D printer in like a semi-cooler and it prints. It's insane. As we know from the polls, especially during this current Ukraine-Russia crisis, because as much as I disagree with a lot of their politics, I'm glad that this whole thing kind of like rewoken them, like freaking out for all the right reasons. So as far as I understand, these are going to be the 2 files I'm going to be using. I have a good. This one is more of like a triangle shape, and then this one has like one flat side and one curved side. So that's the one I'm going to be focusing on. Let's see. I know that's their store brand. It really sucks too because like so this is literally I think outside of 3 locks, the only other things I own from Home Depot is now this file set and actually the 2 cases, the new wheelie case and the carrying case I have. That's the Husky. That's from Home Depot, and then I'm basically never gonna shop there ever again. Like I get most of my stuff from Lowe's. I literally only go to Home Depot either when it's like I had no choice, or like I had no choice because you literally can't find it anywhere else. Yeah, triangle and a half round. I mean, you can 3D print the mold as well, but that's kind of redundant because you can also just buy the molds. I mean, you can technically just buy the lamb too, but I don't know. People just like doing shit. Alright, so this is where I wish I had the Elmo so you can kind of get the detail on this. And let me take a sip here. I am definitely going to be washing my hands with lava soap tonight. And I have normal towels over here. I have blue towels up there. Not that I think I need them. So yeah, I guess I'll be like in chat a bit. So if I don't talk for a bit, it's because I'm kind of concentrating. And no, I'm not going to need the flat end one. Alright, so if I'm doing this right, I'm going to start. I just want to see how well these score or not. Because my theory is these are the cheap Chinese ones, so I'm probably going to need a lot more force on them. But I also just didn't want to go like full force and just instantly like break them in half. Nice. Okay. I've heard about them before. Literally, I looked at a bunch of different hardware stuff where I was, and it was like a dead zone. Like everything else, I either had to go like in Manhattan for, East Brooklyn, or go back to Jersey City, and I like legit didn't have the time. And like I said, I normally avoid Home Depot like the plague. So like, this is probably going to be like the last thing I buy from them in like a million years. Because I'm not going to go into details right now unless people really want me to. There's like a reason why... there's a reason why I try to avoid Home Depot. And it really sucks because I know it's like a job to the people working there, and like I've never had bad customer service there or anything in my life. It's just a bunch of other things. Other things that, you know, normally I wouldn't mind time of going into. But I just feel like not going into it. Alright, so that's starting to get rounded there. Let me just feel. Oh my god. Like, it's not even completely, it's like rounded. It's not round. And even if I just get rounded, I'm mostly good. But, like, literally, like, you can't really see this on camera. But, like, I have more to go, but it's literally nice and day. Like, this is literally, like, a knife edge. And this is, like, actually, like, getting smooth. Like, this feels smooth already. So, I think we're off to kind of a good start here. So, even though we kind of talked about this earlier, you know, I've been having a birthday. I've been busy, but it's been mostly good stuff. How's everyone else's week? Is anyone looking forward to anything this week? Like, even if it's something simple like sleep or like to eat like a certain food or something. Been eating all types of food recently. I actually need to get back to working out, lose some weight. I gained between all the stress with all the stuff going on between January and the end of March. I gained 20 pounds, and I think now I've lost like roughly 12 pounds of that, but it's still crazy. Yes, I tried looking for an Ace. They weren't there. I actually have a little coupon thing with Ace, like one of those, like, what do you call those? Those, like, barcode things where, like, you get points and you get a discount and stuff. I have that with Ace. Ace is awesome. Like, I mainly go to Lowe's and Ace for stuff. This was literally just because if I tried to go home and then go out, we would have been streaming at, like, 1 a.m. in the morning, and I'd have to cancel the stream, and I really wanted to do this stream. Plus, to be honest, I was still hand-carrying the locks. It was really heavy. I wanted to see if I could find if they had the wheel Husky set, and they did. So now I have that, and I don't have to buy any more of that anymore because now I'm set. All right, I'm going to start progressing to the other side here. Let's go to edge number 2. And with this one, I'm kind of doing, because now the flag's not in the way, so I'm kind of doing the entire set. And again, like, I'm actually going to angle this down a little bit more. now you don't really, you can just like kill where I only see the top of my head. So I definitely am smoothing out the pick here. I can see that. I'm also probably, I know I'm making stupid faces as I do this. I'm not as bad when I play video games, but I'm very much aware of that. Let's see if I got any improvement here on the back one. Yeah, I have to... It seems like the back edge ones I'm going to have to do more filing on than the front edge ones. So this one might take a little bit longer. The only time I ever got good customer service at a big box DIY store is when I explained that I operated a panel saw as part of my job. That's interesting. I've always had good customer service. I've especially had good customer service at Lowe's. The problem with a lot of the big chains for me is not that I get suck-ass customer service. It's just trying to find employees. Because the stores are so huge and they're so spread out. That's just like, my problem is like I have a question and like I have to go hunt for an employee for 20 aisles and I find them and they actually have the answer. You know, like I've never, usually every time I've asked an employee at Lowe's, they know exactly like what I'm looking for and stuff like that. And they give me a very concise, good answer. It's just more of like, yeah, this is getting smoother. You can actually feel, or like on one side still like the old side, and like this side is just like super smooth now. That's kind of hilarious. So that's like my thing is like the lack of employees. I think that's why a lot of them have really developed. Oh, by the way, at the Home Depot I was at, their self-checkout crashed. So it was an hour before their closing time. And when I got in the line, I was like in the line for like 20 minutes because it was like one giant line, especially because there was one cash lane, there was one checkout lane that was just cash only, because normally everyone would just half and half to self-checkout and everyone would have checked out in like 2 minutes, but because their self-checkout's down. And you know, that's saying something because like none of the convenience stores in my area that are chains have self-checkout, even though their cousins do in New York. And I wish we would get self-checkout for like Walgreens and Rite Aid and stuff, because like that would speed things up so much around here. Like that's to me like one of the big disadvantages. Just minor nitpick disadvantage of Jersey City is there's like no self-checkout anywhere, and I wish there was. I will say at least the Lowe's, Aces, and Home Depots in our area are like easy to navigate, because that one I went to in Brooklyn, that was the first time I went to Home Depot in Brooklyn. I'd been to Home Depot in Manhattan, but both of those, like, confusing fucking mazes. Like, I thought I was going to run into, like, David Bowie as the Goblin King. That's how fucking confusing they were. Let's get on this edge. All I want for them is cut my plywood in half. Yeah. No, you know what's kind of odd? I actually do know. Maybe this is actually the reason why I get customer service. I actually notice a pattern that it's like if you know what you're doing, if you look like and sound like you know what you're doing, like it seems like the more confused the employees are. It's like if you're clueless, then they have like all the answers there. I don't know if that's a thing. I probably just doxed myself as me being a fucking idiot most of the time. I also realize I really hope that I'm not driving my roommate crazy with these sounds, because I actually didn't know what sound this was going to make when I started doing all of this. And to me, it's not bad. It's actually kind of ASMR-y, I guess. I should have tagged this with an ASMR as well on Twitch, even though I'm just talking normal. I'm not doing the whisper thing. Although there's also that whole thing, which I completely understand, and I know where it's coming from, where basically ASMR is basically like the closest. If you combine the ASMR with the hot tub channel on Twitch, that's basically Twitch legal porn. Like, that's literally what it is. So I'll put it this way. So here's what kind of my crazy schedule looks like. This is like the last of me busy, and then I'm not going to be busy for like 3 weeks. I am definitely going to come to 2600 this time because last time, I'm not going to go into details, but basically there was a big issue where I was living, where I was supposed to go to 3 different things that night, including the New York 2600 meeting, and just by the time I would have gotten there, all 3 of them would have like ended 2 hours ago each. So like I just gave up. I was so pissed because I was packed and ready to go and everything, and just nothing worked out. So I'm definitely going in May. Because, it's like, hey, I want to go to 2600 meeting my birth month, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. So, I'm doing nothing tomorrow. I'm just working, and I'm doing house stuff. I'm cleaning up and everything. And then, Tuesday, I already got tickets to an event that, again, I'm not going to fully dox myself, so I'm not going to say, like, all the details, but I'm going to an event in New York City. It's going to be later at night. I think it starts at 8:30, so I'm probably going to leave at, like, 7 to get there at, like, 8:15. That should be enough time. So I've gone there enough times out in Brooklyn. It's near where the Deep End is. There's a gay bar out there. Really cool venue. A lot of great, like, performances out there. They do Smash Brothers tournaments out there. What was I going to say? So I'm going to go to that with a friend. And then Wednesday I'm not supposed to have anything, but one of the weird things that happened to me, it was one of like the best like birth month things to happen to me, to be honest, was so there's a lady that I see at my job. She doesn't work in the same thing. She's just a normal person walking her dog. And like I have her phone number and we've been like friends. She's really nice, really cute and everything. And she was coming back from an event to New York, and we ran into each other at the McDonald's locally near the station. And so we actually finally got to hang out, like, outside of me not working, and outside of her walking her dog and chat. And it turns out that, A, we have a lot more in common than I thought in a lot of different ways. Both PC and non-PC ways. And that even some of the stuff, like basically there's a lot of stuff that I do, like lockpicking, that she's always wanted to get into, that she's heard about and she's seen videos of. And there's a bunch of stuff that I've been interested in that I didn't know any other person who did that, and now that I know her, so we're going to just constantly take each other to events and stuff and like go out to lunch and things, so now I'm really happy. So if she wants to go out Wednesday, there's a cool thing I can take her to. Basically, that clown shirt that I wear, that friend who's on that, that's the person who's the clown on that shirt, is performing on Wednesday. If not, I'll just stay home and I'll go to one of her future shows next month. Then this is my last busy thing. Thursday is the DCG 212 meeting. I'm going to try to be there physically because it's right off the path train. Literally go to 9th Street on the path train and then go around the block, and there it is. Super easy to get to. That's why we're kind of like sister groups in a way, more ways than one. And trying not to breathe in the metal filings. I probably really should be also wearing safety goggles, and they are up there. So what I'll say is, if you ever do this, even though it's not, to me, not a big deal, wear safety goggles. Don't do what I do. I'm just here being an unsafe jerk, and I'll readily admit that. So yeah. If you want to be super proper about this, in addition to wearing gloves, wear safety goggles, and probably also N95 or N95 or K95 mask, just some sort of mask so you're not breathing in this stuff. All right, so let's see how smooth we've made this so far. All right, I can already tell this is like a huge. It's still squarish, but yeah, it's a huge improvement. I can actually see the rounded edges here. I still have to do more polishing on the backside ones. The backside ones really seem like it's taking more work. This one needs a bit more work. This one needs a lot more work. So we're going to focus on that. And then I think I am going to use the 220 sandpaper and finish it a bit more and see how that does. But let's file this down a bit more. I'm going to actually use a little bit more pressure on this one. The last thing I want to do is not pay attention. I'm just, girls and dicks and lockpicking, and then snap, and I saw right through it. That's why I said if I don't talk for a while, that's my main reasoning here. I also feel sad because I'm pretty sure, like, when most people tag metalworking on Twitch, like, they're expecting, like, people, like, making armor and shit like that, and here I am just filing a Dimple Lockpick with that Chinese government steel that they're all made out of. Although this is a lot better and it doesn't have that weird powder residue on it, so it has that going for it. So that's Thursdays. I'm going to be at the DCG 212 meeting, the New York DEF CON meeting. And then, okay, and then then Friday I have 2 back-to-back things. One of them's basically I have to go to a pool party, like a swimming pool. I'm gonna be wearing swim gear and stuff, and we're gonna be playing like pool volleyball and drinking and stuff. It's gonna be great. And then right after that, I have to go to my friend's club and make sure he hasn't died of insanity and boredom. And then Saturday, actually that's the thing. So if I'm not seeing my friend Lydia Wiltz on Wednesday, she's doing a show with a bunch of other clowns where they're going to do stage performance stuff. They're going to do like the bed of nails and things like that. It's going to be really cool. 45-degree angle. All right, so. Yeah, no, what I've been doing is I've been trying different angles just so I can get like a more rounded thing. One's already off really good. It's really like the back sides of these, and it's probably because I wasn't paying attention and I thought I was doing one of the back sides and I probably only did it for a couple of seconds. And again, it's been a while also since I've done files, and these are the first time I've like personally owned files. Speaking of Florida, by the way, I know that's one hell of a segue, but still, holy shit! It's been amazingly, hilariously amusing. Now I'm gonna go this angle here. This is, I think, the last one, and then I'll try finishing it. Kind of sounds like a duck, right? Speaking of like Donald Duck and stuff. Holy shit, has Disney not been able to win, especially with Bob Cheapass, aka Bob Cheapeck. I realize you can actually see my pajama bottom pants in this. Yeah, they're all Playboys. Anytime, I never do a stream pantsless. I've never done a stream pantsless ever because I'm too worried about risking the TOS. But I have worn many funky pajama bottoms occasionally that sometimes you see when I get up to get drinks and stuff. Because of the current angle, you're able to see it all. So I'm wearing the Playboys. Got this years ago. I think I was like at the end of high school when I got these, and they still fit me somehow. So, yeah, so basically what happened with Disney, well, first of all, it's just not doing well with Star Wars. It was like Star Wars Galaxies was like it was a half miss. Avengers Campus is a half miss. Galaxy's Edge, WTF, that whole thing has just been ugh. And then the recent thing that leaked out was that all their board members, including Bob Chapek, were actually sponsoring the money behind the Don't Say Gay bill, and that leaked out. And so their LGBTQ and progressive and leftist fan base got mad and were boycotting. So then they reversed decisions, and now the Republicans are boycotting, canceling them. So Disney is like literally the only thing that the left and the right can agree on, even though it's like for different reasons and different points, but they can all agree that like fuck Disney. So like Disney, I think that's why they just came out with that new Lightyear trailer too. Like I'm not interested in that, but I think they just dropped that because they like literally can't win. It's like, you know, I'm one of those weird people where I like Disney, but like my likeness also is like I like everything about Disney, especially their fuck ups. Like I'm obsessed with like the background history of like Euro Disney before it changed to Disneyland Paris, and the brain fart that is and was Disney's California's Adventure. All the canceled rides and attractions and theme parks and stuff. Like I love it when Disney fucks up or is trying to cover up shit and stuff like that. You know, like Discovery Island, which is an abandoned island on the property, little places that you can't go to. I'm like that type of fan. Like when I know eventually I'm going to go to Disney World. I'm going to brave Florida and actually go there because I also have relatives in Florida, so I don't have to like check in a hotel. I'm literally probably just going to go to a Disney hotel over one night just to have the experience. But like if and when I go, I'm definitely going to do the Keys to the Kingdom tour where you get to go through the tunnels and the utilidors and stuff because I'm that type of like fan. You know, I'm also hypercritical. Like I know Disney's not anyone's friend. No corporation is your friend. So it's just that, you know. And obviously I like certain Disney films and stuff. but like I actually done in the past for DCG 201, both in person and online. I talk about all the weird stuff about Disney, and eventually, probably in June, I'll do an encore. If I recently did one about McDonald's, and honestly, it's even weirder than the Disney stuff. Yes, I would say Disney and Microsoft were kind of the model for every 80s cyberpunk megacorp. Yeah, where were the Mickey Mouse ears in Cyberpunk 2077? They were probably too busy being a dumpster fire. Oh god, I also heard the roadmap for that game, for the next-gen GLC and stuff, got pushed back again. So now it's supposed to come out like late mid to mid 2023. And I kind of agree with Dreamcast guy, who is a YouTuber, in saying that like, wow, is that game dead? Like, I already knew that game was dead and they'd never like fix it. Like, the best they could hope for is like 8 to 10 years later it turns into a No Man's Sky or a Sea of Thieves, where just because of the sheer amount of content and people playing their asses. But no, they're already now trying to make Witcher 4 and Unreal Engine 5. Like, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do, which is the smart thing, and I'm actually mad that they tried to make it work, which is just admit that you fucked up, you know, patch it enough so that it runs, and then work on your next thing and like, you know, kill all the people who worked on the previous game, the Cyberpunk game. 2077. That would actually be interesting. Like, I kind of wish and hope that, I mean, I'd be decrepit and probably a brain in the jar, but it'd be nice to live to 2077 just to see all of like the holographic brain download videos, which would be that version's like YouTube videos of like all of the brain they're Freudian slip brain tubers talking about, yo, we're running Cyberpunk 2077 in 2077, this glitchy vintage game. Like, think about it, that's going to be vintage. Like, it's going to blow my mind. It already blew my mind when Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 are now nostalgic. I cannot wait until, and it's already starting to happen to some degree, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 when they become nostalgic and retro and vintage. That's going to be so weird. It's going to be so weird. It's not going to happen anytime soon because thanks to the chip shortages and stuff, the current gen is going to be around for a while. Honestly, I don't see PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X overtaking anything until like, I actually want to say like 2026, 2027. It's going to take like 4, maybe 5 years before that happens thanks to the chip shortage stuff. So get used to a lot of double releases. That's all I'm saying. And yes, I am going to probably starting in, unless we do one for Nintendo Switch Sports next month. Yes, I am going to go back to doing like live streaming video games while interviewing hackers. I was supposed to do one for this month with Kirby, and I just didn't have the time because I was too busy. So I bring my birthday. Oh God, I don't even, tabletop people or like my condolences. Alright, this is a lot. Like, it's still kind of an edge, but it's rounded. It's a lot smoother. The only one I kind of want to work on, because I felt, is that inside area, which is going to be really delicate because it's around the flag. And then we're going to go, like, polish finish and see if this improves anything. So this one's kind of really tricky. I'm going to, like, really kind of balance it and then counter it with this. Because I don't want to chip away at the flag. Near the end, I will try to take off more of a wedge chunk in the front so it can easily slip. I might do a little bit of it in the back too, just so it can ease. Because with any pick, you want them to like glide over the pins. You don't want them to get stuck on them, whether it's a linear one or a dimple. Yeah, oh, fun thing about Night Owl, because I don't know if he's ever posted it, but I'm going to totally dox him with this fun piece of information. I've lived at his now old place before, so I kind of got to see what it's like in that, like, amazing brain case of his. And one of the things that you don't know about, well, first of all, like most hackers, except for me, he has a keyboard that when he types shit, it sounds like a fucking AK-47's going off. And in 3-round bursts, I might add. It's actually a fun story that him and Rob used to tell, which is true. I was sleeping on his couch, and apparently they were talking on Twitter about how, like, holy shit, like, this keyboard, I have, like, the loudest as fuck keyboard, and, like, it doesn't wake him up, and Rob was like, yeah, like, there would be, like gunfights and, like bullfights outside of Rob's old place, and I wouldn't wake up. And when they finally tagged me back when I had Twitter on Twitter, that's when I woke up. So it's like, you know, bombs going off, stuff won't wake me up. If you speak my name, I shall appear. But I'm not insulting Mr. Clicky. I wish I had one of those. I'm just putting this as context. He has one of those. And then either to the side of it when he's not using it or in front of it, he has like the station. It's like, it's these giant freaking neon Evangelion fucking Gundam 076 fucking joysticks, like dual joysticks in order to play all of his BattleMech games. Yep, he still has. So that's why he brought, so when he mentioned about the Battletech and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, he also like plays the video games with all of like that Armor Core. By the way, I don't know if you ever got into Armor Core, but a lot of my friends were like happy because they let me actually do this at this angle as well. They're remaking Armor Core 1 and 2. Armor Core 1's going to come out later this year, the remake. And it looks like, I have like no knowledge of that series besides the fact that it's like a mech game and it's like turn-based, mimics like the tabletop stuff I saw. But the graphics were really impressive, especially for Nintendo Switch. Like as someone who owns a Switch, and you know, I'm actually always still impressed with like what people actually do with it and stuff in terms of graphics and everything. Actually really impressive. Alright, let me wipe, let me do some feel. I actually also have some cloths that I could have used to wipe, but I'm just lazy, I'm going to use my glove. Alright, everything's a lot smoother. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on this side a bit more. And then we're going to do the finishing, air quote, because it's probably not going to still be finished yet. And then we'll try it. And then, to be honest, since we're already past midnight and I have to go to work at 7:30 in the morning, we're probably going to end the stream after that. But I'm so glad. We had actually a ton of people in here, and thanks to Niall and a couple of others, the chat's been really active. So, like, and I know I haven't been looking at the camera much, but I've been concentrating on this. But, like, thanks everyone for showing up. Like, I know it's the day after my birthday. Now it's 2 days after my birthday. But it like, I'm not kidding when I say it really does mean a lot that you guys are out here for this. Normally, we try not to advertise staff birthdays and stuff. I was actually, last year, I was going to, this year, I was actually going to announce Jack and a bunch of others' birthdays, but, you know, Jack moved and there was a bunch of other things, so I'm the only birthday so far. Maybe next year we'll announce what birthday is. Squirtle hasn't had a birthday yet. I have to actually ask him if he had it yet, because if he doesn't, we'll do a live stream or a shout-out for that. Typing on him now, Armor Core was a poor man's Battletech. We're getting into, like, the specifics. Hey, it could be worse. You could be a Splatoon fan. Even though they said summer and it's coming out in September, and I know on paper it's 2 weeks before it's technically summer, but fuck it. September with leaves falling back to school, that is not summer, okay? 4 companies of mech standing by. Wait, in the game, in the games or in real life? Because knowing you, it could be either, Night Owl. That's all I'm saying. Not saying that's a bad thing, that's all I'm just saying. I just need to know if you're talking about it virtually, minifigurely, or real life scary shit that will make the Robo NYPD dogs shit themselves. This is the one where I'm like really gonna get into it now. Like, I know this is probably like the speed I should have been doing this at. And then I get to vacuum like shavings. Like, I'm getting tired, and I really want to try this out, so I'm just speeding it up a bit, trying not to, like, break anything. Take your pick. I'll take your Peterson short hook. Poor choice of words, Night Owl. Now you owe me one of those. That's going to be your birthday gift. Give me one of your picks, because you said take your pick. Any planet, any era. Personally, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. And my era is I want to move forward, not backwards. Alright, so we're going to make this a bit more of a V as we get really delicate here. this correct angle. Because I don't want to be like, bing, and it's like, oh, that was the really good one. All right, that's a lot more of a wedge. Let's work on it like for like a couple of seconds more. But now, like before, it was like this weird. It was like a notch pick, but it wasn't. And now it actually looks like a wedge. And again, this is the short version of this. I'm probably going to be doing this and to the rest of the flag heads like the next 2 weeks, and then give up and just get a new better Dimple Pick set. But I'm going to look up the company that you recommended for the Dimple Pick set. I for some reason that never entered my head. I haven't looked at what their Dimple Pick sets are. Dimple Pick sets. See, I need food and sleep because I've been on the MTA for over 4 hours. Do a little back here. Gonna do a little bit more, and I think that's good enough for this stream. Actually, I'm going to try the triangle one for this one. Just because it can get into that edge. As long as I keep the core of it in the same shape, I should be good. I'm just happy that I finally put like the metalworking tag on Twitch, and this is like technically actually metalworking. Like, I'm not lying, I'm just not doing anything impressive, really. And again, one of my goals is where I'm going to be doing more stuff. Hey, spares in the drawer, of course, you know, because especially with that notch thing at the end, my joke is that Peterson, they put the notch in the wrong place. They didn't put it in the place where they actually wanted to. So yeah, I need this one anyhow, so I'm going to open this one. And we'll finish this as is. And my whole thing is, I'm not even caring if I actually pick the clear lock open on stream. I just want to feel, maybe see, but definitely feel if there's an improvement. That's my goal. I also want to mention, I will mention this at the end because we're near the end anyhow, that if you like the content that you currently see right now, you can like, share, and subscribe to us completely free on all of our streaming platforms. Our three main ones are Twitch, D Live on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell. Turn all notifications on because YouTube fucking sucks. That should be their default. And, you know, I like when people know, like, no one's followed news so far, but we have like over 1,000 viewers. Like, you'd be shocked at how many Twitch streamers don't even have that, so I'm just very grateful for that. I'm grateful for all of you on here. And again, before we end this stream in probably the next like 5 to 8 minutes, and by the way, if you're on Twitch, stay tuned because we will look up someone and we will raid them. So you'll be able to see someone cool that's probably doing a lot more productive things than me. Sometimes they're coding, sometimes it's a physical thing, sometimes it's a DJ, sometimes it's something weird. Maybe it's old TV shows, who knows, but we will raid someone on Twitch, so stay tuned. But you know, if you have any questions in chat as we're at the end of this stretch, because I'm tired and I have to go to work, although I'm so glad that I did this and I have new equipment now. You know, ask in chat like the way me and Night have been back and forth. Like, I'm always good down for asking questions no matter how stupid they are, as long as they're not like lame trolls. Otherwise, if you're just here to learn from this somehow and lurk, as I always say, keep lurking, keep learning. So here we go. So this is like the super grit. I'm just going to finish this. Okay. Let's use. I love, by the way, for this type of stuff, because this is like kind of new to me. I love sandpaper sponges. They've been my new. I hate flat sandpaper. Like, unless I'm sanding wood or like a large wood or metal surface, I fucking hate them. For like polishing picks, rounding off things and stuff. This is what I want because I have so many options I can do. Even though this one's not wedge shaped, like I can do this. They have these little like nooks and crannies here. I can fold it around the pick. It's just a bunch of fun stuff I can do. In fact, I'm going to do a fold like here. Because Night Owl has told me, I've seen him tell people this too, where he's often like, just take a flat piece of sandpaper of high grip, put in a book and pull out. I just personally find the sponges easier, but that's also a valid technique, and Night Owl will probably say that in chat. All right. So let's go feel this now. Okay, this is, it's not perfect, because again, I have to work on it for a while, but this is definitely an improvement in terms of feel. Like, even when I rotate this, like, I don't feel anything that's getting stuck. There's like no like real definite angles. So I'm confident of this. I'm less confident in the wedges, although it is rounded out. So again, I'm not even, like, if I pick it open, that would be amazing. I just want to see and feel if there's any improvement. So first of all, let's remind ourselves which side. Okay, so we're going to do, let's do this one. Let's get the non-smoothed out Z wrench. And from what I read and was told, you tension it the opposite way of your rotation. So in this case, I'm coming in from if you look at it, I'm coming from the right side with the flag on the left, and I'm rotating up and down this way. So if I'm rotating up, I want to be rotating down. You're supposed to like do the opposite. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to put in the tension. Yes, he would have said that. So yeah, I know you at least that well. So I just want to see if... So first of all, not perfect, but it's a lot easier to slide from underneath the pin heads than it was before. Like, I still have to do some force, but outside of that odd one, and that's because I put that at an odd angle by accident, I am not getting as stuck as I was before. And let's see if we have any improvements with rotation now. Oh god, this is... Yeah, it's not perfect, but like the rotation... It's not even like a placebo or anything. The rotation is so... I just overset that one. It's so much easier to do. I feel like I have a lot more control over this now than what I previously did. Let me just reset my tension. And I know this is like super far away. Normally I would, first of all, I'd probably do it like this. And I know normally I would get like the Elmo. I'll try to do one super up close in a moment. I'm just curious myself. I hope I can get the Elmo back. If not, I'm pretty sure but sometime in May I'm gonna get the better camera. So that should solve all the problems right there. But like what I'm testing for is, it's a slightly easier going between the pins, slightly smoother. Definitely could use improvement there. I have to like really go into detail on that. But like the rotation is so much better than it was before. Like, I'm now happy that I did this. Like, it's actually so good that one of my problems now is that some of the old stuff I was doing, I'm now, like, oversetting pins by accident. Which, to me, is, like, I mean, you could debate me, but, like, in terms of just, like, operation improvement for right now, like, that's the problem I'd rather be having, and I can get adjusted and used to it, rather than do that. And again, normally with like a lot of these Dimple Locks is more designed at, these is like more of a Euro cylinder design, so normally I'd be actually doing the other way, where I'd be like tensioning up and like rotating it down, which really shouldn't matter that much. That's more of, I think, of a preference thing in terms of this situation. Obviously, if it was installed in the door, I'd have no choice. For me, it's just more of like a, what you call it, I'm missing that one. Oh, there we go. For me, it's more of like a, what do you call it? Like, it shouldn't really matter, because the whole point of the fact that lock systems like these have springs now, so that way it doesn't really matter what angle you install them in. They should work regardless, because super old locks, like the old like Sumerians and stuff, were entirely dependent on gravity, and that was actually, like, if you could exploit that, that would actually be a legit exploit to do. And of course, there's sort of like an odd, like, weird mini resurgence, and I'm just gonna, for funsies, try the other side, which to me is usually a bit more difficult, because like, now people are designing the, like, padlocks and stuff where the gravity actually affects the pin, so you have to hold the lock at a certain angle and stuff to open it, which is kind of cool. In the real world, you tension as needed for the lock set and pick as dictated by the key. Exactly. And again, this is like I have not obviously been picking dimples as long as I've been picking linear pin tumblers. So I'm still getting used to this. Like, the thing that I saw in other people's videos that now I do, and it's made my life a lot easier, is I'm using like my ring and middle fingers to, ooh, I'm almost set, to like stabilize, oh, they just fell, because I'm so tired right now, to stabilize guiding this dimple lock shaft in and out, because I found out when you don't do that, like, even if you try to use your thumb to constantly push it to one side, you're inevitably going to cross over into the warding and get the pick stuck or screw up your picking and stuff. So again, even though I'm obviously too tired and don't have the time and stuff to attempt to sit here for like 2 hours and try to pick this open on air, I was right in that, you know, this is still not the best tool ever, in terms of like this particular brand and style, especially with this. I think it's funny that, like, you're supposed to be rotating, so they chose a screw on, because it's just so easy for this to get stuck and accidentally screw out and lose all of your tension in picking that way, or get it stuck. So that's a huge ass design flaw. That's like a car that blows up when you start it and you don't intend to do that. But smoothing out the edges here, and I'll take after picks. You'll probably see them tomorrow, before and after picks. Really actually improve the quality. Again, I didn't really get to do too much of a wedge, but I did improve it, so it was a lot easier to slide underneath the pins back and forth. Because before, as you saw, I was just constantly catching. The other thing I was catching is, again, it's like easier to rotate, and none of the rotations I was ever caught on anything. So I actually consider this like a success and like a direction until I get better dimple picks to go for, because that's something a lot of people don't realize you can do, is that if you ever get stuck with crappy picks, I know people actually even do this on purpose, where they get like crappy imported Chinese picks or what have you, especially from goddamn, I don't know why, like, preppers drive me crazy. Sky Pirate and I talk about this, where a lot of preppers are like super on point about everything, like food sources and defense systems and stuff, and then like their lockpick set is just laughably bad. Like, even for like an all raking set, it's like poor materials, they're imported from China, they're too big for the keyways, all those sorts of things. But you can take them, and if you know what you're doing with like filing and polishing and stuff, even using, which I don't have yet, like a Dremel and things, you can actually like improve tools. I know Bosnian Bill, retirement, R stands for retirement, RIP his channel, constantly talks about and would compare like, filing stuff, and he would often talk about like which ones were tumbled really well and which ones weren't. These, obviously, I don't think they were ever tumbled, so that was definitely a huge improvement. Well, regardless, thank you all for watching this stream so much. I will actually end it with something cool that I don't think will get me demonetized, because I'll put it this way. These are flavored. They are not actually, like, they do not contain Pingo Bye Bye juice. They're flavored this way. I have two candies. that I picked up when I went to get stuff for Easter at the Polonia store that I go to, which stands for the Polish food store. And I found these alcoholic flavored chocolates. One is I had whiskey ones, but I can't find the box. They went really well at the picnic I went to, but I haven't opened or tried these yet. One is brandy, so very British, and one is vodka flavored, which actually is the one I first noticed because I'm kind of like, who wants to actually have their stuff flavored vodka? And I'll do this. I'm gonna give everyone like 10 to 12 seconds to pick which one I should try on air, and if you don't, I will pick one for you myself because I know it's super late. And then I'll say my goodbyes and do the website stuff, and then like all the, where you can follow me and crap like that. And then we'll do the outro, and during the outro, if you're on Twitch, we're going to raid someone, so that should be pretty neat. So, anyone, which one should I do here? Should I do the brandy flavored ones, or should I do the vodka flavored ones? These are chocolates, by the way. They're flavored. I should actually do... No, I'm still connected. These are flavored to the things. Like, they literally say on the box... Let me try to find it, yeah. Like a chocolates with brandy flavored. All that, Yeah, it literally warns, because it's all Polish, by the way. There's, like, no English on this thing. It literally warns, yeah, right here, that the alcohol content for this is so low to make these flavored that they won't even register. It's kind of like how the same way when you buy most cannabis products, it's less than 0.3% of THC. This is in a similar vein where the alcohol percentage is so low. Basically, from what I understand, there's as little alcohol in these as if you got like a sports drink or something. It's super low. So, last couple of seconds, 5 seconds. Which one should I try on air? Should I try the brandy flavored ones, or should I try the vodka flavored ones? Which ones should I try? These are two candies that are flavored like the Pingo Bye Bye Booze Juice. Anyone? Because on one hand, like, I rarely drink brandy. It's a sipping drink. I can't stand that crap. By the way, they're also the same amount of calories, and I think they're like the same amount of like fats and sugars and everything. So it doesn't really matter in terms of that. Yeah, they're like exactly the same. So I'm kind of curious about that. But because I'm a regular vodka drinker, and it kind of blows my mind, I've never heard anyone be like, hey, I want my green beans, or I want my steak or my wife and stuff to taste like vodka. I've never heard of that. Like, you drink vodka to get the buzz. You don't really do it for taste. To me, if you're doing it for taste, that means you're drinking like a really bad vodka that has influenced flavor in it, like Absolute Vodka or something like that, which I can't stand, simply because they sponsor all the LGBTQ stuff in America and around the world. So anytime during Pride, every time you order a drink that's with vodka and you're wondering why it's not as strong and tastes weird, it's because it has Absolute Vodka in it. Although that's just me being a snob, because I know for most vodkas, it's literally just the same distillery and they're on like different brands. But there are, like, especially, I'll put it this way, you definitely notice a difference in vodka quality between getting anything locally here and getting it a direct import from Poland. Like, that's a thing there. So, like, even if it's like a brand that they sell in America, like, I'll put it this way, there's a big difference between Sabinski, which is my ultimate, like, baseline favorite vodka. Like, it's not the best vodka, but it works. Like, it's way better than Stoli, in my opinion. Definitely both. I would honestly choose Stoli over Absolute. Like, fuck all that shit. Fuck all of that. Or, like, Crystal Skull, which is, like, more of a novelty. But, what do you call it? Where was I going with this topic? I just wanted to talk about booze as a half Polish person. No, there's a big difference between, like, Sowiecki, which is, like, baseline Polish vodka. They have an English brand. And vodka, spelled with a W. That's the picture. If you ever go to my, like, personal profile, that's that picture I have. As you notice, there's Polish text on it because it's imported directly from Poland. And you definitely notice. I'll put it this way. Pass the German test. I was at an event where, don't ask, there were 4 German dominatrixes. Weren't doing anything weird. We were all fully clothed. Who born and raised in Germany. And they were curious because they're like, oh, you're half Polish and you picked vodka. I want to try it. They tried that and they were like, oh my God, that's really good vodka. And that's where I learned that now when I get them to buy 2, because they drained that entire bottle within half an hour. Like they loved it so much that between all 4 of them, they just killed that entire bottle. It was like just open. I only got 1 shot out of it, and then they just shotted and mixed drinked that vodka to that. So that's different. Well, because no one picked, and because I am the Polish, I will save the brandy for some other time. I'm gonna find out one. Why the hell would you make a candy that's flavored after vodka? Whose dumb idea was it? How much vodka were you on when you came up with this idea? And I have an odd feeling. I don't think I'm going to hate it. I don't think I'm going to love it. I think I'm going to be confused. It's like that one time where they made a double Big Mac. So it's like a 4-layer Big Mac. I took a picture of that and I sent it over to Siricel, and I told her, I said, McDonald's lost their mind. And he's like, holy shit, this is like a war crime, you know? Which I agreed with. To me, this is like the equivalent of that. So it comes in this like white, has like a little shot bottle on it, which is kind of a hilarious, cute touch. I'm actually just going to do a test thing in chat just to make sure that, like, everything's going through and I'm not getting, like, weirded. No, everything's good. Because, again, these are candies. I'm not even going to get anything off of this. This is literally a test of flavor. The whiskey ones were really good. They actually tasted like whiskey. And I know it's a chocolate shell and there's, like, a kind of caramel inside, and that has the flavor. So it's very liquidy. It's literally kind of like a shot in a piece of candy. So it comes out like this. Note that I'm not touching it. I'm just going to use the wrapper because I don't want, like, I'm already doing this bad enough with my hands this close. And here we go. So I'm going to count to 10, and you're going to see my reaction. I'm going to let you know how a vodka flavored candy, Easter candy, actually tastes. Remember, it's flavored. I'm not getting drunk off of this. So here we go. Counting to 10. 1, 2, 10. Still chewing the outer shell. Okay. Give it a couple of seconds so it like percolates and I get a good idea of the aftertaste. Okay, dead serious. I'm actually mad at myself for how much I actually liked that. It definitely it tastes like Sabitsky. It tastes like a average generic Polish vodka. It's not super high quality. It does have some taste of it. With this one, so the whiskey one was like pure whiskey. I didn't taste chocolate. This one, I definitely tasted a mix of chocolate and the vodka flavor. And another thing about it is that it actually had the warmth and the burn, even though it didn't burn in this case of the vodka. Like, that was kind of neat. I would actually buy more of these in the future because I have so many people who do vodka shots like really, like, they do it terribly. Like, that's also why I bought the brandy ones. Fun quick thing, and then we'll end the stream. In Poland, I know this for a fact, people who work at pubs and bars, they're always on the lookout of British customers because the high-powered drink in Britain, because the Brits don't count Ireland and Scotland, even though that's where they get all of their good stuff from. So the English, aka the Brits, they get their main thing is brandy. That's their high-powered drink, and brandy, as you can see on the box, it's like a huge, wide base glass. And it's a sipping drink, so you slowly drip it. It's kind of like wine, where you're just slowly drinking it. You basically turn to Donald Trump. You're like a raccoon picking up a bottle of water. That's how you drink brandy. So a lot of British people, when they order shots of vodka or something like mixed with vodka, they drink it, especially the shots, like it's brandy, which is the worst way you can drink even like bootleg bullshit vodka. Like, so literally, if like, they'll actually ask like different ethnicities when they do serving at pubs in Poland. I mean, some of them could be racist, but it's not for like racism stuff. It's that they're trying to find the Brit or just someone who's never done, and they'll do that. The last nationalities and be like, who's actually done vodka shots, and then especially if they're British and they don't know, they'll actually sit there and teach them. Like they'll pour and they'll put it up all the way to the brim because that's what Polish people do for no reason. Like they'll put like, so it has to be like dripping everywhere when you pick it up. That's how full they are. And they teach you, and I'm going to quickly say that the secret, the thing is not, especially if it's a good one, which basically means it's like 2 degrees away from like rubbing alcohol. None of it's supposed to get on your skin. It's not supposed to get in your on your lips, in your lips, and it's not supposed to technically touch anywhere in your mouth. What you're going to do is when you take the shot, so like tequila, you can, like you do in one thing, but you like drink it. It's like that. You don't do that. With vodka, you toss it in one swoop so it goes immediately to the back of your throat, and then if you do it right when it hits the back of your throat, as soon as it touches, you swallow. So it's all one thing. It's not tequila where it's like gulp, 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 done. It's gulp. And that's how you do that. And you do that because with the high quality stuff, like some of the stuff I import and drink, if it gets anywhere in and on, especially on your mouth, like the outside of it, it will actually low-level chemical burn. And the reason I'm saying that is that I actually now, when I go back to the various Polish places that I get these at, that I found these at, found them 2 places, I'm actually going to get more of the vodka ones because I've had to instruct so many people how to do it. Maybe I'll get even more type of liquor ones because they have rum ones and stuff like that. I'm actually going to... These are actually really good of, like, if someone's never drank vodka and you're like, here's to prepare of what it's going to taste and feel like without, like, getting drunk from it and not getting, like, completely burned from it. So I actually highly recommend these. Like, now I'm curious about the brandy ones. But you know what? I'll save the brandy ones for Crypto Barons. Whether I do it this Saturday or 2 Saturdays from now, that's when I'll do them. And then I'll get my whole review of those. So that was really cool. I'll actually, you know what I'll do? I'll get a bunch of boxes for these. I don't know about bringing them to DEF CON, because I don't know if they survive the trip. I'll bring up like 2 boxes each of each alcohol type of these to Hope. Because I think that would be great of like, you know, because yeah, I hope, you know, a lot of us are, you know, terrible people. So like all we do is just double fish Jamesons all day. And we also double fish Jameson. Haha. But, you know, there's a lot of new people who are, like, they're kind of embarrassed. I know a lot of people who, they're not straight edge. They do drink, but the reason why they drink privately and they don't drink with other hackers is because it's less so, in my opinion, now, which I think is a good thing. But there is usually a push to, like, go for the most extreme stuff no matter what it is. Like, not even with just drinking with everything. So, like, when it comes to drinking with hackers, like, it's like, oh, cool, we're going to start you off with this 40. Like, you know, like, that's everyone's mentality. Like, they just want you to immediately go, like, beyond the deep end. And, you know, it's the same thing with locks. I struggled with Master Lock number 3 for a week when I finally got comfortable with 4 pins. It's like, it's baby steps. That's one of the things I like about the lock sport community, by the way, is that, like, I think most of us, if not all of us, are aware that we've all started off as noobs and we're also still learning things. So we know it's all about baby steps, progress, and, like, doing what you need to do in order to just get there gradually at your own pace, at your own knowledge skill. Good lock sporters would rather have you go away knowing shit than, like, feeling confident about something, you know? Like, we want you to truly know the techniques and the locks and their functions and security flaws and bypasses instead of just parroting things all the time. You know, it's like the difference, it's like what lockpicking Laura says. He doesn't want you to, like, get good at picking a certain type of lock. He wants you to get good at, like, picking locks in general, and that's the idea. So anyhow, so as a recap, 2 days ago, because it's past midnight, was my birthday. I'm going to actually wear these one last time, just because I want to be that much of a dick. My phone died. Yeah, indeed. I have to charge before I go to bed. So yeah, 2 days ago was my birthday. This is my birthday stream because I didn't do one for Crypto Barons. I'm going to save Crypto Barons for some other time. If I do Crypto Barons, I will announce that to everyone and let everyone know. That would be on the 30th, and I'd probably start it early. I'd probably go from like 6 to like either like 5 to 7 or 6 to 8, something like that. And then I have to like run out for the last thing I'm doing in April. If not, because I did Master of Unlocking so late, we're actually going to have an episode very soon. It's going to be next week, so next Sunday. So the next 2 shows, because we do the first and third Sunday of every month, is going to be May 1st and May 15th. And then the Crypto Barons one is going to be the 14th and the 28th, and we're going to have a special one for Bitcoin Pizza Day on the 22nd. And if everything goes well, and right now it's going extremely well, later on this week, or beginning of next week, we will announce at DCG 201 the May event. It's going to be huge. No, it is going to be a big event. We're going to promote the hell out of it. Really cool people, really cool subject we're going to be dealing with both in person and on live stream, and that should be on the 20th at a new venue that is probably going to be our venue we'll go to when we do super big stuff, and so it's going to be currently a one-off, so just stay tuned for that announcement. So yeah, thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for learning with me that yes, now this tool has actually improved. It's definitely better. I'm still going to be working on it, filing it down a bit more, smoothing it out, and making it better. And then just the rest of it is just me trying to not have a shitty technique so I can open these more frequently. So that's a great way of like how to take like crappier tools and learn to improve them. So that's it. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go relax. I'm going to get relaxed enough so I can go to work tomorrow and then party even more. Thank you all for watching the stream with me. Stay tuned if you're on Twitch because we are going to go raid another stream. So you're going to be brought over to a different stream. I always don't know who it is yet, but it's always a surprise unless I purposely say beforehand. But yeah, that's kind of, well, that's the end of, Master of Unlocking. Oh my god, I just realized something. Okay, this is how we're going to actually end the stream. I was so excited. Now, technically we didn't learn a lockpicking technique today, but I was so excited going to this episode. This is the first episode where I broke my rule of starting the episode, that I have to start the episode with the 2 laws that Tool has. So to make up for it, super quick overview of the 2 laws that Tool has, where even though I'm a Tool member, this is not a Tool sponsored or endorsed stream, but they're still really good rules, so I use them for everything with lock score and lock picking. 1, do not pick locks that you rely on. So do not pick the front door of your lock. Do not pick your gym locker lock. You're more susceptible to breaking that lock, breaking your picks, or both, and it also just wears the lock down over time, makes it more susceptible to that technique. And do not pick locks that you don't own. If you were not given consent to pick that lock by someone else, that is trespassing and a bunch of other things. It's both ethically and legally a bunch of bad mojo. So all the stuff that you see today, the tools I showed, this clear plastic lock, stuff like that, maybe not the tools I use to sand down, but I only use these tools and locks to further my skills in lockpicking, as well as to teach others and for others to practice on. I own them, I give consent for people to pick them, and I don't rely on them. They only exist just to be picked. So rewind. That was the thing before you go like going crazy with like you seeing any Dimple Lockpick and you have a flag pick and you're just going to try it on everything. Don't do that, okay? Forgot to say at the beginning, it's the first time I ever fucked that up because, it's my birthday stream. And you know what's funny? I realized I fucked that up after I did the non-alcoholic flavored snacks, so go figure. So yeah, we're going to go raid a stream on Twitch. There's going to be some outro music here. Again, thank you for watching the show. We will be back on May 1st. Because everything should go right. Again, our website is still on like maintenance and stuff. We're still updating it and doing some things. So if you want to, I just did the wrong link. Anyway, if you want to check us out on social media, there's the link tree for that. Our 2 biggest social medias are Twitter at DefCon201NJ and Instagram at DefCon201. But we're also on a bunch of other things: Mastodon, Minds.com. We have our own meetup group, things like that. If you want up-to-date updates, and we're actually going to be making a new blog post, actually at this stage, I'm going to post it tomorrow about DCG 212 and their upcoming meeting. You go to our Medium blog until our website's back up. That has all of our relevant stuff. And even though we're not on it as frequently, if you do want to chat, we are going to be moving to a new IRC. We're going to figure that out by the middle of May finally, because it's been a while, because we have to put it to a proper vote. But if you do want to chat, we do have a Discord, and we actually often use our Discord for capture the flag stuff. We like to engage and capture the flag and see how well we do or what we can learn, and we're going to be doing a lot more in those. I don't know if there's going to be one in May. I know about Hack-A-Sack. We're not going to be doing Hack-A-Sat as a group. That's its own thing. I'm really excited for Hack-A-Sat though. But we're going to be doing a lot more of those. So whether you're doing CTFs with us or you just want to hang around and chat and you have questions, I will admit that we're not as frequent on there, but we do have a Discord. So yeah, that's it. Again, we're going to raid someone on Twitch. Stay tuned. Thank you. Thank you for everyone who wished me a happy birthday. If it's your birthday today or in the future, tell me it's your birthday. I will wish you a happy birthday on air. That's the end of our show. I hope you liked what you saw. I definitely enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to enjoy this food and going to bed. Hack the planet. Dirty Jersey represents. And remember, it's always really important to have a night owl. Have a freaking night owl. A night owl will save your ass. He will actually make your stupid shit sound legible. Always have a night owl. Thank you, Night Owl, for everything and all the stuff you learned. Peace, everyone. Enjoy the music. Say hi to whoever we raid. I love this. If you haven't seen the new drip, by the way, you're all going to love this outro. I just loved it. I put a lot of work into it, okay? Peace. Sorry, wrong thing. Hang on. Let's try this again.
Power, 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 power. Come over tonight, get to know me.